Hey, what's good? It's Rotten and welcome to the MWYD. Nope, fucked it up. I knew I was gonna do that. I knew it. I told
And you don't know
myself.
why you just do the easy part, but just say, "Man, what y'all doing?" Podcast. You just had to be special, didn't you?
Cause I like to say the
Yeah,
MWYD
yeah.
or man, what y'all do? I like to do that. It feels right, you know. So whatever, we keeping this. This is man,
Mhm.
what y'all doing? Podcast with me. As I'm Rockin' and with me today is Carnage.
What it? I always say what it do. You know what's going on, people? How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? It's your boy Carnage. Um, on the ones and twos, fresh from the TX. You feel me? You know what I'm saying, man? What y'all doing?
Oh, we shout out our states now. All right, I should mention I'm from the AZ. That don't even sound as
Yeah,
cool.
cause you really ain't from there, but we gonna keep it moving.
Why you gotta put me out there like that? You ain't really from there. Yes, right. No, actually, okay, yeah, from the MI from D town from Detroit. Yes, I'm from Detroit, of course. I just live in Arizona right now. I've been living in Arizona for I don't know. I guess I've been living in Arizona now for like 17, 18 years.
Cold in the deep.
Oh God! It's so cold in the D. How to find it? We supposed to keep peace. Oh my God! I forgot that song exists. Oh no!
That's funny, bro.
He brought
Uh,
that back from the grave,
I
yo.
forgot all about that one.
It's so
Yeah.
cold in the D. Oh man! Wow! I'm stunned. I can't. Even, we got genius.
I am an artist known as a creative genius. I'm gonna need everybody to say the whole thing. Yes, y'all, every time. No.
But your tag just says genius on here. Is it? You want the creative one?
No need for the technicalities.
Oh my God! Cat was no point, dude. And then we got a sack lunch.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you had your nutrients and supplements, in your sack lunch today. Your boy sack lunch. Bring more. Bring more to your, to your eardrums. In
This time I need a
another,
high C for my
Why'd
lunch.
you slip into like horror movie mode? It's like bring it more to your eardrums.
bring more to your eardrums.
You want lunch?
All that you need.
We all eat apples down here.
A ham and cheese sandwich with a bag of Lay's.
A bag of Lay's.
That man got his own trailer. Don't open the sacked lunch.
If you say peanut butter and jelly in the mirror 3 times, he kills you for real.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Don't sing that song.
Right.
It'll be the last one you ever sing.
From the makers of Dinner Time. Oh my God! All right, so
Three Square Meal Production.
Speaking of horror movies, before we dive into all the separate stuff yet,
yeah.
that Candyman is looking kind of nice.
Who made that? Is that Peel?
Key and Peele.
That's what I thought.
I want to say it's still Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, it's Jordan
Yeah,
Peele.
it is.
That okay. I'm not a horror movie guy, so I'm staying out of that conversation. I just was like interested to see who made it because I can't. I'm weak. I'm a scaredy cat, and I hate gore, and I hate thought. Nah, I'm good. So
I
all
like
those.
the concept they seem to be running with of Candyman wasn't just one person. Like it seems they in the video they said, "Oh, it's a whole hive," but
Oh,
because of the legend of Candyman and the dudes like sitting here like interviewing different people, I guess, who know about Candyman or have made known that person. And he's like trying to tempt people to get in the mirror, be like, come on, let's do it. Let's see what the urban legend's all about. Majority
oh,
of that trailer, people are
shit.
telling him, no, what is wrong with you? Get out my face. Like, no, I'm not doing this.
Right. Oh wow, that actually okay. That's
It
pretty
looks
interesting.
good, though.
Cause yeah, I mean, really, like real talk. Like if somebody came like, "Hey man, let's say this in the mirror 3 times," like at that point, I'm like, I don't care if it's true or not. I'm not doing it. like, this does not seem like something I want to do or participate in. That does not seem like a smart thing to do. Because even if it's not true, now I gotta sleep with that thought. Like I said in the mirror 3 times. I'm not sleeping with that thought on my mind.
Yeah, the trailer is actually pretty suspenseful. But as far as like the old Candyman movies, I don't know how it's going to hold up with him, like, actually taking people out and stuff. It doesn't seem like a gory movie from what I can see.
Okay.
Candyman.
What is that beep noise? Anybody hear that?
I
No, I
don't
don't
hear.
hear no.
No, I don't hear nothing.
Okay, so that's in my house. I don't like that we're talking about horror movies and then I hear a random beep inside of my house.
Oh shit!
Not a fan of that. I don't know what that sounds. I have nothing in my house that sounds like that I can think of. Oh, yes I do. The fucking PS4, but it's not beeping. Yeah, it had to be PS4. So
Yeah, that's the PS4 sound.
it's a PS4. Yeah, it
That
is
is
PS4.
definitely a PS4 sound.
Man, okay, another tangent before we get off to the subjects, but like, I really hate that our I don't know if it's like an old PS4 thing or what, but my PS4 has this thing it does where every once in a while, out of the blue, when it feels like it will just start doing that beep, 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 and then if there's a disc in the drive, it kicks it out, and it won't take a disc for like 10 minutes. Like I'll try, like this is when I had Street Fighter 5 on disc. It would happen all the time. Like I'll be sleeping in the middle of the night, or like I'll be doing something, or just wouldn't be paying attention to me. Like beep, beep, I'm like, what the fuck? And I would look over and I'll be pressing the button and trying to stop it, and then it would just kick the disc out. And I would try to put the disc back in because like then the PlayStation would cut on. I would try to put the disc back in, and it wouldn't take it. It would just keep spinning out. And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, what is going on with this? And I would have to literally unplug it, plug it back in, and then it will work.
That's random.
I think mine does that when it does have like some sort of error. I get that, but that's about it.
Right, but it'll be like when you have an error, not when it's just like, I don't know, chilling. It's just like, play me.
Pretty much, probably what it's saying. And
Probably. It just struck me as so weird, dude. Like, now I don't have a disc in there at all, so it can beep as much as it wants to. I don't give a fuck. It just can't.
No, your PlayStation trolling.
Right.
You should be sitting here like Jelani.
Right.
Jelani, watch this. There goes the disc.
Right. Shoot the disc back out. Right. Just throws the disc back out and be hit me in the face. Like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, to be fair, my PS4 is like launch. It's a launch PS4 that I bought refurbished like months after years after the release. So it's probably dying. I want to get a new PS4, but PS4 is actually kind of expensive right now, which is surprising.
has your PS4 gotten to the airplane mode yet?
No, not yet. No, it's not Jermaine's PS4 yet. It was
That's how mine was. I was reluctant to do it, but I looked at them. They got the warranty or whatever. If you break the warranty, if you open it up.
Oh, my warranty expired.
I was
anyway,
thinking to myself, I was like, I don't want to do this. Then I thought about it. I was like, I ain't got no damn warranty on this no more.
How many years? Right, like at this point.
So I took it apart and I cleaned, pretty much like use a spray to clean the inside, the fan. Because if you just spraying the fan through the back of the PS4 where it's already covered, it's not actually hitting the disc fan.
Right.
You gotta actually take it apart and then spray inside of the little thing when you take it all the way down, taking off the little cover or whatever.
Right.
Had to go in there, spray it, and then when I finally did that and cleaned that out, and then I closed it back up, it took away the sound. I mean, it still was loud, but it wasn't as loud. It didn't sound like a 757 taking the fuck off.
Right.
But it sounded a lot better.
No, I gotta do that to my
basically all it is just the buildup of the dust buildup on the inside of that fan.
Right, makes it run harder. And if I cared enough about PS4, I probably would do it. But I really don't even want to buy another PS4. It's just that certain fighting games are only like my friends only buy on PS4. I'm like, well, to play with them, I gotta play on PS4.
Like
and
us?
Sucks. Yeah, basically, because like if it was up to me, I'd be like, I want to play everything on PC, but I don't have that option a lot of the time. So I still buy it on PC, but I've had to double dip a lot of fighting games. I'm like, but it is what it is. So yeah, like
I think the worst thing about opening the PS4 is the screws. They're very specific screws in there, and it was annoying trying to get those out.
Yeah, and they're real small.
Yeah, I hate when trying to come to do that shit. They're like, the smallest screw you can find. What kind of head is gonna be a three Y wing? Like, nobody has a screwdriver for this. Why are you doing? I know. I mean, they do it because it's like, well, they don't want anybody opening it, but still,
I'm doing it. Yeah.
yeah, it's like still, it's annoying as shit. At least it's not Apple.
Like, what
Apple,
kind of screwdriver I need? The XMG 457.
right? You can only order from this site.
Let me call C3PO
Right.
so you can open this shit up.
This is not Apple, man. I used to be so in love with Apple's like machines and whatnot because it was a lot more user friendly back then. But now they close off everything, and even like their laptops, man. You get inside them, like to clean the fan and stuff like. First of all, don't do it because it's not even possible at this point. Unless you want to take the entire board apart, because now everything's like glued to the fucking logic board, which is insane. But on top of that, they have like the smallest screws I've ever seen in like human use. Like you can fucking drop them on your bed and lose them. Like they are tiny. They are microscopic, and I'm like, why would you put these in here? But of course, the same answer. They don't want you touching it. So
Right. I don't want you modifying this.
right.
I don't want to see. I don't want you to see what you're really getting.
And the thing that makes me so annoyed with them is just that it used to be that one of the big pluses that I used to always tout for like Apple computers, particularly their laptops, where I was like, some of the people was like, hey, if you want to put more memory in here, you want to change the drives out, it's easy, it's no problem. They made it easy to access. That was before. Now you can't even change the memory. Like the memory is locked at whatever you buy it at, and they don't often give you an option of like, a 32 gig memory or something like that, or gigs of RAM or like that, unless you buy like the top of the line version of it, and that almost doubles the price or whatever. And same thing with drives. I used to be able to, like my old laptop, I could switch the drives out, put an SSD in there. Now, if you don't order SSD when you get it, good luck, because again, you can't even access that shit. It's like it's all like tied to the logic board. It's like you got to take everything apart to even get to it. Same thing with the batteries. Like it's hard to replace. So it's yeah. My current laptop, which is a 2019 one, if that shit messes up, it's just KO. That's it. It's my last laptop from Apple. So unless they change something. So
Money.
right, yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, it is what it is. Like thankfully, like that laptop is probably gonna be good for like a good 10, 15 years before it like really becomes out of date. Not 10, not 15 rather, like 10 years probably. I will say because of where it's at, like it's not gonna be like clamoring for the laptop. It's pretty top of the line. But yeah, I'm not trying to put that kind of investment down again anytime soon. So but that's okay. I got my baby now. My desktop take care of everything. Just damn just rising dog. Anyway, that's not even what we're here about. Now I'm talking about technology. Yeah, so first we'll do what everybody's been busy with this entire, couple of weeks we've been away. Last time we did one of these podcasts was at E3. And something we actually can talk about some things that went there. You can talk about some things too that you enjoyed from E3 or that you were looking forward to. If you want to get thoughts on that presentation or anything from any of the companies, feel free to do that. But primarily, if you've been doing anything, watching anything, playing anything from these couple of weeks, feel free to talk about it and throw it out there. Who would like to take the first swing?
Might as well start it off with Loki.
Yeah, you okay? We do that. We talk about Loki. So I and Genius have been watching Loki pretty steadily. The first week I kind of just like, let me check it out and see. I knew it'd be good, but I wasn't sure. So let me just check it out and see where it goes. And then after that, there were nights where I was like, I might be up until 1:00 just to watch Loki when it releases, like literally. But I think I did it one night. That was like the second one, and then from there I just been like just getting up early on Wednesday mornings and watching it. It's kind of my breakfast thing right now. So, yeah, it's Loki has been. Oh yeah, if you've not watched Loki, this will contain spoilers, plenty of spoilers. So at this point right now, to the point that I put in the description, you will probably want to jump there. Because otherwise, you're about to learn a lot about Loki, and I'm not gonna hold back. So, yeah, it is very interesting, and it's going a direction I did not expect it to go, especially considering the first 2 episodes and how they kind of set that up. I love it. We got 2 episodes left, right? Because it's another 6-episode one.
Yeah, I think it is only 6.
Yeah, so we got 2 more left. So it's already kind of closing in on his end game, which, damn, considering last episode was, I really want to see how they're going to explain all this within 2 hours because it's a lot. But for those that have not seen it that are still interested but also don't mind spoilers, essentially when Loki, it was back in Endgame where you see that Loki got the Tesseract and then jumped through time. I don't think that was intentional when he jumped through time. He just jumped anywhere but there because he didn't want to get captured.
Yeah, it just took off.
He just took off. Yeah, it just took off. And because of that, he caused an issue with the timeline where he became what's called a variant. And the Timekeepers Authority?
Yeah.
The Timekeepers Authority find him and immediately try to put him, Mobius, who was played by Owen Wilson, tries to put him to work to capture another variant that's causing him trouble on the timeline. And it gets wacky from there. It goes crazy from there. I like the fact that right from the start, in the first episode, with like the first 5 minutes, we're already back to disrespecting Loki. Because he's like, I don't have time for you guys. I'll be leaving now. And I think her name is B-15 or something like that. The one guard. She smacked him with that pole with the slow motion. And I love the fact that they make you think at first like it's just one of those slow motion effects from like the Matrix, the usual slow motion effects or whatever. And then she walks up to him in regular speed. She's like, he's just experiencing all that pain and slow motion. I was like, oh man, I'm like, yeah, we right back to it already. I love this. I love it. And then it goes from there. And like the first couple episodes kind of deal with like him and Mobius and like they're kind of forging a partnership. Loki does get to see how his life ends, and that seems to at the time convince him to help the TK Timekeepers.
No, you're right. TVA. I think it's actually the Time Variant Authority.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Time Variance Authority. Right. Yes. TVA. That's why I'm like, TVA? My brain couldn't reconcile that for some reason. TVA. The TVA, most of them are reluctant to have like Loki help out, but then Mobius kind of convinces everybody like, hey, listen. Guys, listen. I think I'll get him on our side. I think he can help us out. I'm Owen Wilson. You can definitely tell, but I'm not quite Owen Wilson. I love Owen Wilson anyway. I love him to death. These are one of my favorites, but you can definitely tell it's Owen Wilson. Like it's kind of like the Nicolas Cage syndrome. Where like you can definitely tell like he's a good actor, but you can definitely tell like it's Owen Wilson. Nicolas Cage is I don't want to say he's a bad actor, but he picks his parts specifically to ham out. But you can tell when you see Nicolas Cage like that's a Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Terrence Howard is another one too.
He is. Terrence Howard is another one too. Like this is as you can just tell, like you're acting this part, but this is definitely you just acting this part, But yeah, no, Mobius convinces the TVA to like give Loki a chance. The reason they want to because the variant they're looking for that's like causing trouble on the timeline and killing all their soldiers is another variant of Loki. And so you get that far into it. And by that episode, when especially got to the beginning of the second one, they show Loki all in the suit and everything. I'm thinking like the entire series is going to be Loki learning to adjust to the TVA and learning his place there and all that kind of stuff, becoming kind of a part of it or whatever. End of the second episode, that does not happen. Like I was like, oh shit, we're going for another swerve. Okay, cool. And it fascinates me. Like everything they've done so far, like everything about it has fascinated me. And I think I'm keeping my expectations in check because I did with Scarlet. I mean, I didn't really expect stuff with Scarlet Witch, but there were things that they teased that we talked about before where I was just like, we talked about like, oh man, what if they bring the X-Men in with this? Or look at this tease with Quicksilver. And I'm like, now I'm just like kind of numb to it. I'm like, yeah, that teases about multiverse and all that stuff, but I bet none of this is going to actually come to fruition. It might set up the Doctor Strange movie at best, but everything else will be like, okay, cool, it's there. It'll probably be like
I got super trolled by WandaVision.
Yeah, I think everybody felt like that after a while. Like some people at first like, no, it's okay, it's cool, but then after a while you thought like, yeah, man, they trolled the hell out of us with WandaVision.
Yeah,
because they set up so much stuff that like really could have like gone somewhere. And I mean, this is not to down WandaVision shows. I love WandaVision. I still give it personally for me. I give it like a 9 out of 10. I love WandaVision. I thought it was great. But there definitely was that part of you that was like, yo, I'm so excited for things to come. And everything else was standing. The biggest one was just the Quicksilver troll because it was like, oh, it literally is not the same Quicksilver, but use the same actor. Oh, I was like, come on, man. That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, Loki, man, it really goes in some directions I did not expect, especially after that second episode. I was like, oh, this is where we're going. Um, and I don't. Okay, so tell me what you think of at the end, or not the end, in the beginning of the fourth episode when they had Loki and Sylvie. So okay, so actually Sylvie is the variant. She's another Loki, but she calls herself Sylvie, right? And so by the end of the second episode, or in the middle of the third episode, I guess, her and Loki actually team up to like go back and make the TVA like answer the questions for them or whatever they're gonna do. They got their own plans, but they're like, we gotta first things first. We gotta talk to the TVA. We gotta get to the TVA and figure out what the hell's going on, what they're really trying to do, because everything they've said has been a lie. Um, but there's a moment that in the beginning of the fourth episode where it looks like Loki's gonna confess to her, and I'm like, and then like when he does, or like when they're sitting there and he's holding her hand, the timeline starts going crazy, like something there happened, and I'm like, are they trying to indicate that Loki is falling in love with Sylvie? But essentially, since Sylvie is another Loki, he's essentially falling with another version of himself. Yeah, and I was like, so I get the narcissism part of it, but yeah, right. It's like, because even Mobius brings it up later on. He's like, when he interrogates Loki again, they get captured, and he's like, he like tests him by saying that they killed Sylvie or whatever. They quote unquote pruned her from the timeline, and like Loki tries to play it off like he doesn't care, but you can see it in his eyes. They're all like watery and shit. Like even I'll give him props for that. He made that look of like Tom Hiddleston, man. He made it look like he actually was like trying to play off that she was dead, like he didn't care. But he captured that look, that expression of somebody that's like trying to play it off, but is actually seriously hurt. And I could see it, and I'm like, damn, for some reason that really like stood out to me. I was like, damn, that's a really good expression right there. But like because of Mobius saw it, he was like, you sick son of a bitch, you fell in love with yourself. Like all of it, like no wonder the timeline went crazy. Only you can fall in love with yourself. I'm like, is that really what happened? And it seems like he's gonna try and like bring it up again at the end of the episode. But yeah, I guess I was like, is that so? Genius, you tell me what you think. Like, so what are your thoughts in general? And just on that point too, because I was really It seemed obvious that they were heading towards that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I was confused by that. Genius.
Disappearing.
Confused by what?
That's a creative genius right there.
Right. Didn't this happen last time we did a podcast? Like, we brought it back to you. It was like, what happened? Matter of fact, it was. That's the title of the episode. Yeah.
I just missed that last part. You said what you were confused by.
Oh yeah. Just like, do you think that they're like hinting at, or like, because I think you know more about Loki than I would as far as the comics. Was there a point where Loki ever like fell in love with a version of himself? And is that what they're trying to hit at? Is there something coming from that, or is it just like what was going on there? Is that something that you should look out for?
I don't think there's actually been anything like that in the comic books, and I've kind of accepted at this point that the MCU, as far as storylines go, they're starting to do their own thing, because they're not really following anything from the comics at this point ever since WandaVision. Right.
And then just kind of what's your thoughts on the series so far? I know I kind of went and gave like a quick summary of some stuff, but
yeah, I thought it was interesting how when he ran into Sylvie when they were in the store, like when they actually found her, that he asked her what happened to B-15, and she was basically describing her powers of enchantment and everything, and how strong B-15's mind was, and she had to use her memories to basically keep control over, which is how they found out that. So, okay, before I do that, let me backtrack a little bit. Right. So, Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, is under the impression that everyone in the TVA was created by the Timekeepers. So, they have no real past, present, or future. They just exist there until the Timekeepers just be like, okay, this comes to an end. That's the impression he's under. So when Sylvie got into B-15's head, she discovered her past memories from when she was human before she was actually in the TVA. And she explained that to Loki, and Loki's like, wait, what'd you say? I thought the Timekeepers made all the people from the TVA. She's like, no, everybody in there is variants.
Right.
And so that leads into Loki telling Mobius about this, and of course it's Loki, so he's still thinking he's lying and everything. So,
right.
But eventually he ends up finding out. Then he gets freaking, what are those little things called? The little sticks that make them disappear.
Yeah, I forget the call, but I know when they actually make them disappear, they call them they say they've been pruned.
Oh, when they say prune them, they're pruning them,
right.
And it's like, I guess supposedly wiping them from existence, but not really. They're being sent somewhere else. But I think they're on a time limit when they're there, based on the last episode.
Yeah, but, right. Yeah. Because like, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, with me accepting the fact that Marvel's doing their own storylines at this point, the only thing that still bugs me about them is how they're taking characters like Loki and Scarlet Witch, and I feel like they're going to do it with somebody else, and they're dumbing them down to basically be relatable in a like reality type standpoint, and I don't really like that. But I mean, I guess there's a end to the means at some point, because they seem like they're really trying to bring all this together, especially the way Sylvie fucked up the timeline.
So what do you mean by making them? Yeah. So what do you mean by making them more relatable? You mean as far as like, well, can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Yeah. So Scarlet Witch, being who she is, a complete reality warper, they make her create her own reality, and then that was pretty much it until near the end of WandaVision. Like, she didn't really display her strength, and I guess the point of the show was to kind of torture her and, you know, break her a bit, and then she ends up, you know, getting her costume and basically seeming stronger, I guess. But I feel like they're kind of doing the same thing with Loki. Capture him, take his powers. He does a little bit of magic here and there when him and Sylvie was going at it, and then that's pretty much been it so far.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so they're not as insanely powerful as they are in the comics or whatnot.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't expect them to be insanely powerful like they are in the comics, but it feels like they're dumbing it down too much. And then, you know, you got the Scarlet Witch and Vision love story. Now you got this Loki and Loki love story. Like, it's so weird to me.
Right. Right. It's the only person he can love, right? Is himself. No, y'all hear you. Yeah. Like, that's, I will say with Scarlet Witch, like, until the very end, that's how I kind of. Right. I am also a god. Ooh. Like the sound of that.
Like, what are you doing later? Nightcap?
It's like in the Austin Powers movie when he went back in time to save Felicity.
Oh yeah.
We are sexy bitches.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Oh man. No, yeah, I was gonna say, I feel you on that, because like with Scarlet Witch, I felt like they really did. I won't say struggle, but they were like kind of. They showed how powerful she could be when she fought Thanos, but then they kind of brought that back down in the actual show. I mean, you still get it's because like even with, I guess it's a testament to how powerful she is, because even though she feels powered down in the show, technically that's still insanely powerful that she could make an entire town like transform it, fall under her spell, while still maintaining that, while still fighting and going through all the stuff she went through. And that way she wouldn't even still tap into her power yet, without knowing any magic at all yet, just off of the basic like, oh, I just got abilities. But yeah, because compared to what she is in the comics, it's like, oh, in the comics, nothing's fucking with her. So
yeah, because in the comics that was the world.
Right,
all
right,
mutants,
yeah, all
humans. That was the entire planet.
Right. So it's like, yeah, she got this one town or whatever, but like when it comes down to it, like the planet was like, she's like, no more mutants. Oh shit, I can't.
Yep.
Wolverine can't heal anymore. Cyclops can't beam anymore. So he's completely worthless.
Yeah, he was already worthless as it was as a damn character in general.
I had to do that. I had to do that too. I don't even hate him like that, but it's just funny. Like
Even though even though his offspring is one of the strongest freaking mutants ever.
yeah, right,
That's because of Gene, though.
Both
right,
of
yeah,
his offspring. Yeah, 2 kids.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
both
that's
of them.
right. Both of them. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, it's because of Gene though, because like, like your DNA is kind of there, but that's all Gene. Just so you know. But yeah, so that's Loki in a nutshell, like right now, and I'm very interested to see. Like you said, it seems like instead when they prune them, they don't actually die; they just go to another place. And so it'll be interesting if when they come back this week, we look up and then Loki and Mobius from back into each other, like, oh, this is where everybody's been at. But like you said, it might be like a thing where they don't have no time. But I'm also like extremely curious to find out what the fuck actually made the TVA, because as for again hyper, so if you've already been listening and you've been, because you're like, I don't care about spoilers, there's only certain things I'm worried about, this is hyper spoilers, this is like Omega level red spoilers. So if you still want to see the last episode and you don't want to be surprised by anything, you should stop now. And again, I'll put a time point in it, or what is
Timestamp.
Timestamp, thank you. I'm like, time point, time frame, time something, timestamp in the description. Space time continuum, space the final frontier. I'll put space the final frontier in the description.
Space where no turtle has gone before.
Yeah, before. Oh, don't do that. You know, oh no, I can't. I gotta do it. You know what's gonna happen?
Gotta go through them all.
Big Apple, 3 a.m.
Alley Cat Blues.
Alley Cat Blues.
Alley Cat Blues. Oh.
Prehistoric
Turtle Sword. Oh, shit, no. Buried my shell at Wounded Knee.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
my
the
god,
classic.
that classic. Oh man. But all right, so spoiler. Spoiler. They get there. They fight the TVA, or not the TVA. They fight the Timekeepers, or actually they fight the Timekeeper soldiers or whatever. And then Sylvie decapitates one of the Timekeepers. It was a weird scene. Like the Timekeepers start laughing like hysterically at one of their own being like beheaded, and then they suddenly just stop functioning. And then she picks up the head, and sure enough, it's a robot. And like there's a bunch of robots. Like, then who actually made the TVA? This entire organization that has been controlling time. And I am extremely curious to know who in the hell made the TVA and what that all leads to, and how that turns out. Because they made that scene kind of finite, but I could tell like something's gonna happen because they showed the Timekeepers like, I don't want to say too early, but like they showed the Timekeepers at the beginning of the episode as if they weren't that important. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, open the episode, she's going to see the Timekeepers. They're that easy to access. Okay. So I'm like, that's kind of anticlimactic to show them that way, and it's obviously because they're not that important. So it's really gonna be interesting to see who actually created the TVA and start this whole thing up, because that's kind of wild. And then also how they're gonna tie it into everything else, because I'm 100% sure this is how they're gonna make the plot point for the next Doctor Strange movie, which is gonna kickstart the next round of Marvel movies.
Even going back to the movies, like I'm wondering why they're doing this. Like the Timekeepers were fake. Putting Evan Peters in as the Quicksilver actor he is, but turning him into Ralph Boner was a fake.
That was his name, Ralph Boner. That was his name.
Yeah,
Ralph Boner.
And then the Mandarin from the Iron Man movie was a fake. Like what's up with all the fake going on in the MCU?
I mean, to be fair to them on that point, the comics themselves do that a lot of the time. So it's a very, depending on how you use it, it can be good, but like it's a very like tropish kind of, or like cliche kind of thing they're doing. You know, they always doing it. You know, because you've read so many comics where they're like, they go through all this stuff, fights, but he's not really the one behind the scheme. It's a fake. Then who's really doing it? And then you find out it is Dr. Octavius Sumerian. And like, okay, right. You know, you find out it's somebody else, something in the links, or it leads back to like, either if you find out it's some new villain they made up that's like overpowered, or you find out it's somebody that they always fight. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, it's actually been Dr. Doom. It's like, again? All right. Or it's like, Hi, I'm Onslaught. The fuck, and he kills everybody. So it's one of those kind of things. So yeah, I am curious, but like, you're right though. It has been like kind of a thing, especially with I think also too with the Marvel shows. That's actually kind of a good point that you're saying there because yeah, when you think about it, every one of the shows has followed the kind of mantra of like the villain is somebody that you don't necessarily suspect. I think WandaVision was probably the most blatant with who it was because there weren't really that many options for who it could be, and it was pretty obvious that Agnes was like standing out. It was like I'm pretty sure it's her. But then with almost said Captain Falcon in Winter Soldier. I almost fucking said it again. Show me your moves.
Falcon kick.
Falcon in the Winter Soldier. You go through the entire thing, wonder who the power broker is, and then you find out it's Sharon. Again, that one was pretty obvious, but it was like kind of the whole like, oh well, the Flag Smashers aren't actually the worst thing out there. It's her, and it's like okay, all right. And then now they're doing it with Loki, where it's like, well, the Timekeepers aren't really the thing, but then who's behind it? It's a mystery. It also like they're trying to do mystery shows rather than like just outright this is the bad guy from the start. Granted, the Flag Smashers were kind of the main villain, but it's still like here's that hidden storyline person that you got to look out for too. That's like actually behind stuff, and it's like, so I'm wondering how they're gonna turn it out. I mean, at this point, we know it's gonna be like some kind of old shit moment when they show who it is. I hope it's not. I guess my worry is I hope it's not a disappointing reveal where we get to that moment and it's like the Timekeeper Association or the Time Variant Association was actually fucking Nick Fury. I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody like because he'd be like, what?
Oh, the revival of Hela.
Right? Yeah. That's like nah. Let's not do that. Let's not revive her. She was good. Let's not revive her, please. Yeah,
I'll turn into Chris Tucker over here. Hey, man, what the hell is this?
Your Chris Tucker's always on point, dog. I guess. Oh man, but yes, that's Loki. Other than that, on my side, because I'll finish up because I don't have much to do. Because Loki's been the main thing I've been watching. I've been playing. I don't know if anybody's been checking out the channel, but I've been playing through Dragon Quest Builders 2. A friend of mine, me and a couple of friends bought this like years ago, and we are supposed to go through like the entire game and share stuff because like it was kind of a Minecraft cross with Minecraft mixed with Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest, and so I mean it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of general. Some ideas carry over like building and stuff like that. And I got sidetracked, and then it just got hard for me to get back into the game, and so now I've made it my goal to finish that game. And a bunch of others. I'm actually going through a bunch of games in my backlog list, and I made a list of games that I haven't beaten that I should beat. So I'm beating this one first because as kind of responsibility to a friend, so we can all play together. And then the very next game I'm going to play is going to be Metroid Prime because as a huge Metroid fan that is extremely excited and cannot wait for Metroid Dread, I never beat Metroid Prime. I never beat Metroid Prime. But as far as the one that coming out, Metroid Dread.
And the news what they showed at E3.
Yeah.
The Nintendo's doing.
Metroid Dread. Interesting.
Yeah. It's
That's side scroll.
Yes. Oh my god. I'm damn near orgasmed.
So they going back to the classic. Still with the classic side scroll.
Yeah, it's if you've seen Samus Returns, which was like a remake of Metroid 2 that was on the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's made by the same company actually, and it's very similar to that. Except now it's on the Switch, so it looks a lot better, and it looks like they improved some of the play issues with it. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but anybody that knows me knows I'm a gigantic Metroid nerd and a huge Metroid fan. But I've yet to beat this. I've beaten all the 2D Metroids like numerous times. So I've beat Metroid NES Zero Mission, which is a remake of the NES game. Metroid 2, the original. Super Metroid, the classic among classics, and then Metroid Fusion, the controversial but still classic among classics. So I've beaten those 5 games in the series back and forth numerous times. You can ask me anything about them. I can tell you where everything is at. Those are my go-tos. Metroid Samus Returns I didn't beat, and the only reason I didn't really play through it much because it came out when I already had a Switch, and I'm sorry, I just did not feel like playing on 3DS anymore. I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I want to beat this, but it's a remake of a game I already beat, and it's on the 3DS. I want to play those. If they released it on the Switch, I would play it, but they're not going to do that. But then Metroid Prime is kind of like my. I got to the very end of Metroid Prime. I never beat the last boss, and I got to the end of it twice. And every time Metroid Prime would kill me, like Metroid Prime being the last boss. Spoiler alert! I don't think that's a spoiler. 10 years later, 20 years later.
Hey, I never beat it.
Neither have I. So welcome to the club. So it's
Spoiler alert for me.
oh no. Are you gonna play it soon?
Perhaps not.
Don't. I was about to say don't even try it. You ain't about to play it. Like,
I ain't got nothing Nintendo right
right,
now.
I said you got anything to play it on right now. I'm gonna play it on my PS4. No, I like
might
to
just get it emulated. How about that?
You could. I'm not against it. But no, yeah. So I never beat Metroid Prime, which Metroid Prime 2 and 3 I'm not too worried about. I had Metroid Prime 3 a couple of times, and I didn't really like Metroid Prime 3 that much. I know a lot of people loved it. It wasn't for me. I never tried Metroid Prime 2. But Metroid Prime, I absolutely loved to death, and I've always been sad that I never beat it because I'm a huge Metroid fan, and that game is basically Metroid or Super Metroid and like Metroid 2, but in 3D basically. So it's like, Metroid Fusion, but in 3D. So it's like, why haven't I beaten it? So that's kind of my next goal on my list. And that's why I was bringing it up because I'm a Metroid fan. And yeah, a small side note and irritation. For those that have looked at the Metroid Dread trailer and keep saying like, "Oh, where's?" Because I kept seeing a lot of reaction videos and stuff. So it's like Metroid 5. They're skipping Metroid 4. No, Metroid 4 is Metroid Fusion. Metroid Prime 4 is Metroid Prime 4. Prime series is totally different. Please stop saying that. Metroid 5 is the next one in the series. I hate it. I hate to see this so much. I know it's a dumb nitpick. It just irritates me as a fan. I'm like, dude, no, they're not skipping. Metroid 5 is the next game, not Metroid 4. Metroid 4 already released. It's called Metroid Fusion. You should play it. It's a great game. All right, that's my rant. Other than that, I'm playing Guilty Gear Strive, and I'm playing that a lot, and I suck. And my main character is Ram, so I have no excuse to why I suck because she's really good, top 3 in the game.
Yeah, she's top.
Yeah, it's like
Ram.
yeah, you know what? It's funny. I was actually tweeting about this earlier, but most games I have like issues trying to pick what character I'm gonna play. And I don't have an issue with this game because it's definitely Ram's my main. I play Giovanna as a secondary sometimes for fun, but I don't know enough of the game to like really sit down with it like that. But Ram Lethal is like super fun for me, and I love her character. So I don't have anything like even if release other characters that I like, I'll probably play around with them. But Ram's my main character. It's not going to change. So it's pretty easy for me on that game. But yeah, I suck at it. And I'm learning, but it's going slow. So, but it's been really fun. The online is great when it works. And the lobby isn't fucked up, but the actual matches.
Yeah, a harder character to kind of not master, but I guess kind of get you like understand with her range and stuff like that. I watch her a lot. People play Ram Lethal a lot. I'm like, damn man, she has a lot of great setups.
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, you got to be right on that game versus like being playing with Soul's pretty straightforward. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this, to be fair, like Ram's actually, she's not that complicated. She's not that bad.
Well, she's not that complicated, but I think she's still a little more high maintenance than like someone like Soul.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that's yeah. To be fair, Soul and May right now are considered like the easy mode.
Almost brain dead. It's like
yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back because Ram with all this. Oh, sorry. No. Put it this way. I
always been like that.
I will say this. This is me personally. This is my personal philosophy on fighting games right now. And this has changed over the years. This is where I'm at now, which is whatever character you play, whether they're easy to play or harder to play, it's going to be a challenge for you to play them. So if somebody comes to you and say like, "Oh yeah, your character's booty butt cheek easy," that doesn't matter if you're struggling. Like, don't take that personally. Like,
if you take it like that, yeah. I mean,
but people like to blame their losses on the other characters, like who you're playing, whatever, and how much effort you got to put in. Which, yeah, some characters take more effort, but that's a thing you choose at the selection screen. If you think the character's holding you back that much, pick another character. Otherwise, just enjoy the journey. Like that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's actually why I pick some of the characters I play. Like ever since Tekken 5, Armor King has been my dude.
Oh yeah.
Even with Tekken 6, when I jumped online, he was my best character. I didn't care who I was facing. I'm like, oh, Eddie, I hate Eddie, but you know what? He's always trying to go low, so I'm gonna smash him mid every time. Like,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, I love characters who are, well, certain characters who are kind of straightforward, because yeah, I feel like it is a challenge to actually get wins, because people feel like they're some of the easiest to go up against.
Right. I agree with that. And then like for me, my problem has always been that I tend to not really analyze my matches that well, and so I just go into character blame mode, which is I blame the character for all my issues, and that really like it wasn't as bad of an issue for me in like Street Fighter
Goddamn
Cross Tekken.
character.
Yeah, dude, like constantly, like I was switching. That's why I switched characters so much to Cross Tekken. Um, I didn't want to admit it at the time because I was like, it must be a character issue. But then I went back to my main team, and then towards the end of my term in Cross Tekken, I was doing way better just playing Cammy. I was doing way better playing Cammy and Jury than I ever had with any other team. And I'm like, I should have just played this team the entire time and not switched around like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy experimenting around in that character. No, I'm sorry, in that game because there was so much stuff to do in that game, so much to learn, and there was so much fun just finding different teams that worked. But yeah, and so and it was good to explore. It's good to explore and try other characters out and see what they do. But at some point, you really should have sit down and say, all right, this is who I love, and whether come rain or shine, I'm going to practice with this character and become the best with that character or set of characters. It doesn't have to be just one. And me being the person I am, I do like to jump around to different characters, but for some reason, whenever I play a character, I feel like I can collect them as my main or like put some kind of I don't know personality behind. I'm like, no, I just play other characters for fun, but like this is my main team. And so my problem with Street Fighter V and why I think I struggle so much in that game is because precisely I was trying to find this perfect mythical character that existed, and I kept saying, man, only if Rose is in this game. If only Rose in this game. And you know what happened that made me put everything in perspective? Rose got released
Rose is in the game,
and I cannot play her. And I was just like, that shit gave me an existential crisis and man, after like 3 weeks of playing her and like complaining about her and bitching about her and stuff like that, and then seeing people have success with her, and then like seeing people like talk about how much they love playing her and stuff like that and how good she is. I was out there standing on the beach, staring at the ocean, like, why am I here? What am I doing with my life?
It's like I should jump.
I mean, she does play a little different than she used to.
That's the thing. That's the thing. She doesn't. I thought that too. But then I watched Filipino man who's like a Rose player. He was playing her in his first intense set, and he was like, no, she plays the same she did before. He's like, I play the same exact way. And I watched him play, and I'm like, I'm like, fuck. It's me. I'm like, it's me. I'm like, I'm the problem. Like, I just never played the character correctly. And then 2, I'm like, I'm just not putting the time and effort in because I'm like expecting her to be this instant win. I'm like, it's me. And that was when it first clicked, like, all right. Because I've said, I've always been like on myself, but inside I'm also blaming the character. Street Fighter V is too offensive. There's no defensive options. Everybody's 50-50 and this character's too powerful. And it's like, but what labbing did I really do? Like, I would go and check 1 or 2 things and think I was okay. It's like, I'm not putting the time in. So 2 things happened. I realized, like, 1, I'm not putting enough time in. If I'm not going to put enough time in to really learn these things, then yeah, I'm going to be bad. I'm not going to be good. I'm not going to get any better. But then 2, the character was never the problem. So you know what? Now I play Jury again. I play Jury and Poison. And I've been doing better. I've been doing more solid. And when I lose, sometimes it's frustrating. And sometimes it makes me want to throw something. But at the same time, I have to sit down and say, switching characters is not going to change shit. I've done that before, too. I've sat in like 8 characters in like 1 session and lost with all of them. And they'd be like, this game sucks. And like, all right, switch games. Play another game. Lose there, too. It's like, at some point, you have to recognize, like, it's me and my approach. What do I do? What do I want to do? And I realize a lot of stuff. I'm not going to it now because I'm already talking way too much. But I just realized, like, a lot of it's just me. And I'm like, all right, here's what I got to do. I'm going back to play Jury because I love the character. And that's just it. And I also like a lot of stuff about her playstyle. There's stuff I don't like, but I can't keep thinking about what she doesn't have and try to, make up for that and trying to find characters that have it. I'm like, for certain matchups, I'll play Poison. And for those matchups, those are the ones I know Poison, like, absolutely dominates in. I like playing Poison. She's really fun when she works. But, like, outside of that, I'm like, I play Jury now, and I'm like, I'm happy. And I'm like, I should have been doing that from the beginning. And I'm like, to bring back the Guilty Gear, I'm like, I'm playing Ram. I like Ram. There's certain issues she does have, but they're small, and she's already a good character anyway. The reason I'm losing is not because Ram is bad or this matchup is bad for her. It's because I don't know what I'm doing yet, and I need to just sit down and learn what I'm doing. So, yeah, that's my It's my spiel. There you go.
Yeah, you just got to lather up, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. And also I don't have to take like 8 hours a day to do that. I can just lab it up here and there and learn a piece here, a piece there, and be good. Like I don't have to like spend my entire life doing it. It's just I got to get back to it's kind of the same thing with my drawing issues I've been having, man. Which is I got to get back to just enjoying projects and having fun. I got to get back to doing things and having fun. For some reason, the older I got, the more I got to like everything has to be serious and have a purpose. And like some stuff you just do because you like to do it.
Just it'll fall into place. You know,
Right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So
just gotta like when I play the fighting games. You know, when I play like Street Fighter 5, and I get frustrated all the time, but you know what I'm saying, I always take it as a learning experience. You know what I'm saying any of the games, you know, maybe Apex Legends or anything like that, and I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What could I do to improve? You know, you know me, I'll play some shitty tiered characters. You know what I'm saying, in fighting games, like a Dan.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll play a character that people will sit there and say, you know, and obviously, you know, tier listing is subjective to an extent, but they might sit there and say, oh, these guys are like low, bottom rung, you know, the majority of the community never plays with these characters. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I purposely play with them like Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Everybody shat on Paul Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning.
I'm about to say I'm like they
In the
did.
beginning they did.
Oh,
Yeah, in the
yeah, you're right. In the
beginning
beginning,
they
it did.
did.
Yeah, in the beginning, it did.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So I played Paul Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? And I like Paul Phoenix because he was simple. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have crazy. And for me to figure out the game, he didn't have crazy combos,
right.
and he hit hard. And I was like, it got me used to like tagging in and things like that. You
Hit
know,
hard is an understatement.
yeah. I mean, he hit like a back truck. You know what I mean,
That shit was. Whew.
but
Just,
but it
just like
makes
he
sense.
does in Tekken.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it made sense because
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
compared to a lot of characters, he didn't have like super long, extensive combos and a lot of things that really tied in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It was just like
100%.
they're like straight knockdown moves, and you get a couple ground bounces and wall bounces, and it's like now you're grounded on the ground. And I get up to you and put pressure on you. You know,
Yeah.
um, so like same thing with like Street Fighter 5. Like I've never played Birdie. I didn't like Birdie in the old series
Right.
ever. I like Birdie as a character. I thought Birdie looked cool, but I didn't like playing Birdie. You know what I'm saying? But who I ended up playing a lot of in 5? Birdie. You know what I'm saying? And Biggs in general, like Abigail, things like that. Characters I normally wouldn't pick. I was picking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you on that because I did that with Balrog. I haven't used Balrog in any Street Fighter ever except 5.
Yeah, you get in there, you're like, oh, I like the way you feel, man. Way better.
Pause.
Blah blah blah. That pause. I like the way you feel. Pause.
Called it out.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
hold on. Actually,
Just like,
before you see, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna stop this recording.
He's wrong on the power
I
lines. Cuts out
barely
everything.
get
Recording it.
range, so it's like
Right, we're recording again, by the way. So, but yeah, just a heads up in case this comes up later. What I was saying off camera was I'm actually like about to be a monsoon storm here right now, which is great because I love monsoon storms. I love this time of year for storms. I love rain, but my apartment complex is kind of shit when it comes to power lines, so I might lose power. I want to stop it and save that part of the file just in case something happened. So, yeah, we're still good. So go ahead. You were talking about Paul and cross second.
oh yeah, nah, but like even like Rose for me, like Rose doesn't play like entirely different, but she has a lot of things that are still different enough that I liked. You know what I'm saying? That maybe like say, you know what? I kind of like playing her. Before I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I
good.
would say on that. I would say on that note. I didn't mean to like discredit what you were saying earlier. That was more against myself.
No.
Because what I did want to elaborate on with that is that she does play the same style, but she plays. Right. She's much more complicated in this game than she was in 4, and I think that's part of what threw me off because in 4 she had a lot of easy answers for stuff, whereas in 5 like there's a lot more nuance to her character that you have to like pick up.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, so she still plays the same, but she plays. I do think. Honestly, that in 5 she's a better character and more well-rounded character than she was in 4. Not from like a character strength perspective, but like as far as like, not let me take that back.
Ability.
I think she's a more interesting character than she was in 4. I love her in 4, but at the same time in 4 she was very basic. Like she was basically just like she was just fireball. She had one friendly combo and she just backdanced out everything. Whereas in 5 she actually you have to like really think to play her. I do think that's stuff they got to do to like make her a little more solid because it's like a couple of things she doesn't get that she probably should. But yeah, as far as like character strength, yeah, if you're she's definitely more interesting to play in 5. She has a lot more to do, and I realized that stuff is not what I want to do.
Very good. Like, but
Yeah.
like that's why I look at characters in 5. There's a lot of characters I still play outside of those ones I mentioned. Like I remember I started off with Laura. You know what I'm saying?
You did,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I started off with Laura 'cause I liked the way she kind of played. But at the time, I felt like it was hard to get in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like after watching IDOM like now and stuff like that, you're like, okay, and other players who played Laura over the years. But in
yeah.
the beginning, it was like such a struggle to get in and do anything relatively damage wise because of I think she like
Season 1,
she
her
got
she wasn't as good as she was in season. In
nah
season 2, she got buffed. Like she got hella buffed, and season 2, she was actually fairly considered like broken. Like her and Ball Raw were like, if she got V trigger, you like,
yeah
it would just her and Ball Raw in season 2. If they got V trigger, it was like the game just started. Like I don't care how much of life you got, they can melt it, you will die.
yeah
And then so in season 3 they kind of toned her down without like
it toned her
nerfing
down
and now
yeah.
she's fairly balanced. Like yeah, but like season 1 though, it was rough on her season 1. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super rough. I was like, damn, man, I can't do nothing, man. It's
Yeah,
like,
because I played her
oh,
in season 1 too, and I ended up dropping her to play Mika and Cammy.
like the moment you whiff, it was like game over. You're like, it's
Right.
like, man, you know, but that's how it is with games like for me, Apex Legends. I remember I started off with playing a character named Caustic, and everybody was like, that dude's garbage. You know what I'm saying? But I was
Yeah,
like, you know
yeah.
what?
I played
I'm
him
making
too.
I was like, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, he's good. I think he's cool. I liked him because he was cool. He reminded me of Breaking Bad. Walter White. Like meth, but it's not meth, obviously. But
Right, right.
I was like, yo, I'll play this guy, man. And everyone's like, oh, he's garbage. He's bottom rung, low tier. I'm like, I want to get this guy to 1,000 kills, man. And I played him like through vanilla. And I was grinding, and then all of a sudden now everybody's like, oh, he's OP. Of course, after reworking him, oh, he's too good. Oh, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah, and he's cheap. I'm like, nah, he's always been pretty good, man. You just didn't really play him.
Yeah,
I
Mm.
go ahead.
people looked at him like downplayed him basically because of his abilities, his little poison gas things,
Yeah,
because of how open the map was. But yeah, you get somebody in the building, it's a wrap.
dude, I was sitting there working him on the outside. I'd figure out like how to use his canisters on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like using them as cover, using them as redirection. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
nice.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, okay, I'll put these here. I'm gonna pop them and redirect you another way. You know what I'm saying? Because most people are gonna freak out. Even though back in the beginning, you could just walk through his gas and not really worry about it. And most people didn't know that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna force you into this little narrow, like between this mountain narrow passageway, and I'm gonna light you up. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop them, and make you think I'm over here, but I'm really over here. You know what I'm saying? So, but I like picking like I always had this problem like picking like underdog characters or
Mm.
characters who are deemed as weak in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's because like I've never been a person who like even with Street Fighter, I don't really pick Shotos because that's always the go-to. You know what I'm saying? Like Ryu, Ken, they're dope, but they're always the go-to characters. Like everybody just default, bah. I'm gonna play a billion Ryus on online, go to tournaments and locals, and you get a couple, up Ken, right, Ryu, Akuma, Ryu, Akuma. You're like, I don't want mirror matches, man. So I don't pick them because I don't want to have mirror matches consistently. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
It's like when I see somebody play like what's his name? Was it Sabin or whatever that plays Dalzum?
Yeah.
The one that
Saving.
hangs with Spooky.
Yeah,
Um,
saving.
yeah, like I like watching matches like that because you don't ever really see Dawson's. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that, and it's like, okay, Dawson versus Orion. Let's see how he's gonna handle because Orion's gonna get all of them cheeks if you can't keep him at a distance. Orion's gonna close that distance and cause problems. You know. But yeah, that's how I kind of see it. Like even with fighting games, things like that. Like Tekken. Um, I never got into the DC games as much. And I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, so I can't really say much on that.
Like, I feel
But
I
Strive,
feel,
I want to play Strive. I want to play Strive.
it's a good game. It's a good. I like it.
You know,
if you, like a lot of people that are coming from the Guilty Gear side are like really not, or not a lot. I shouldn't say that. Let me not say that because I'm not sure. There is definitely an audience on the Guilty Gear side that is coming into it and not feeling it because it doesn't feel like the previous games. It's
Yeah,
not,
it
it's
doesn't
definitely
feel
not
like the
much
previous
now.
ones.
But it's funny because at this point now, I'm so used to that discussion and that argument and having seen it over so many games that it's kind of running on repeat for me. And I'm not. It's just I look at it as hilarious now because like the same shit was said about Street Fighter Five, about Street Fighter 4, about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, about Tekken 7, about Tekken 6, about Tekken 5, about any King of Fighters 14, King of Fighters 13, King of Fighters 12. Well, 12 actually legitimately has issues, but it was still apparently people liked it. So 12, 11.
Yep,
like there's always in any long going series, you get to a point where not even outside of fighting games, like with Pokemon or whatnot. That's what my frustration with Pokemon series that people don't recognize. They fall kind of to the same, not same pattern. Because you can like certain games in the series. I'm not saying you can't like you have to like all the games in the series. You can like and dislike certain games in the series, perfectly fine. But when you get to like, man, the series was so much better when it was here. The series was so much better when it was here. The series was so much better when it was here. I'm like, do you realize you're just moving the same goalpost because it's a different game? Like the game that you liked that you felt was so much better still exists. If you want to play it, you can play it and build a community around it. That's the thing with Street Fighter.
Yeah, it said they'll smash. It'll say they'll smash at some points.
Yeah, like the only difference with Smash that I will give them is that with Melee, there hasn't been a game like Melee since Melee, and even the games that have come after it they're so different that playing they like Street Fighter like 4 to 5. Definitely a different game. It's not the same game at all. It's definitely
it's not at all.
But the very basics of it still plays like Street Fighter. Fireball still generally has the same command. DP still has the same command. Dashing and jumping has the same command. If there's anybody that has Kara stuff in, like Sagat's Kara uppercuts, still have the same kind of idea behind them. Whereas Melee, compared to other Smash games, a lot of the canceling ability stuff like the L canceling, a lot of wave dash and all that stuff, that does not exist at all, or any equivalent of it exists at all in later games. It's a totally different game. It's like your basic functionality is different in that sense. And so I can get it into the Melee players' credit, whether I like them or not. They've championed their game and kept it alive all this time through all these years. Probably because Nintendo just will not listen to them, but because they love their game. And so yeah, if you really enjoy Street Fighter 4 that much, play Street Fighter 4, make a circuit for it, play for it. But it kind of grates on me when I see people kind of looking like, oh yeah, this game needs to play more like 4 did. I'm like, why? 4 is its own game, and personally, I didn't like 4 for whatever reason. So I'm like, I'm kind of glad it's not like 4, even if I don't have like everything that's great about 5 or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting kind of seeing that. We should probably get off the fighting game stuff and let everybody talk about it for the week.
Yeah, actually, y'all, I'm about to get going. So I can go, get food and stuff like that. It's 9. I'm trying not to eat too late. Yeah.
Right.
But I'll give my 2 cents next time. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
It's been a pleasure chatting up with you fellers, and hopefully everybody listening, enjoyed the little talk. Even though we go on rants and tirades on like the same thing. We'll change it up. Don't worry. But
that's the whole thing. You good?
Nah.
Y'all players and playettes, take it smoothly, easy.
I want my high C and my sack lunch next time.
On sack lunch C. No point. All right.
All right, man. Take it easy. Later.
All right, man.
Peace out, y'all.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything else that I did. I'm playing Guilty Gear Strive. I'm playing Dragon Quest Builders 2. I'm playing, still playing Monster Hunter. On my stream, so you can check that out, twitch.tv/rocknindo, ROKNINDO. I got stuff to promote. And I watched Loki, and every once in a while I watch Kipo, but I haven't watched Kipo in a week, so I gotta check. I'm gonna watch some Kipo this week and catch up a little more. Other than that, I'm working on a lot of projects now, and actually my workload's doubled, so yeah, that's that. Who got next?
I guess I'll go because my list ain't that big. Pretty much recently a lot more watching Dragon Quest. Yeah,
I gotta watch that, right?
If you have not, you need to watch Dragon Quest.
Remind me, man. Like, just hit me up during the week. Like, hey, have you watched Dragon Quest yet? Because I gotta watch this week. I have to watch.
Yeah, I'll have to do that because Dragon Quest Die is dope. It is pretty dope.
I want to watch that and that. Not Ragnarok. What's that shit? Rage of Bahamut. Was that it?
Yeah, Rage of
Yeah, Rage of
Bahamut.
Yeah, Virgin Soul. I gotta watch that too. Those are the two I want to watch for sure.
I needed to start watching that, but pretty
Yeah, sorry,
much
go ahead.
still been watching Dragon Quest since it's kind of I kind of got into it a little bit more
Mhm.
than the last time. Then kind of watched a little bit more of Ice Shield. You know, I talked about that last time as I started watching Ice Shield 21.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
Back over again. And pretty much other than that, I started back playing my Tim game, the Pokemon clone on PS4,
Oh
PS5.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you liking
So
Tim?
man, I still like it.
Okay,
I had dropped it for a while because I was playing other stuff, but
gotcha.
I got back on it recently, and I'm still having just as much fun. It's just weird. You could tell the difference that they went with when it comes with between Tim and the Pokemon. Like let's just say like evolutions.
Okay,
So like you know how Pokemon evolve at a certain level they evolve. So like
right.
let's just say Charmander's gonna evolve into to Charmeleon at level 18. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it's always been, or something like that, right?
Right, right, right.
Tim, the way they evolve is it says like it threw me off because it said like after 17 levels they will evolve. So I'm thinking, okay, well, level 17. Just the wording is just weird. No, it literally means that after 17 levels, this Tim will evolve. So if
Hmm.
you capture a Tim at level 20, you have to go
Oh, got
17
17
levels for
levels and
him
he'll
to
evolve.
evolve. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah,
Yeah. So
interesting.
some of them still have like your starters still have like the three different, evolution levels like how they do on Pokemon.
Right.
But my first starter it's called a mental type, which is kind of your psychic Pokemon, which is a
Okay.
starter Pokemon
Okay.
in the game,
Yeah.
or Tim in the game. Its first evolution was at like level after 29 levels, and you get them at
Hmm.
level 5. I just evolved that mug. Then the next one's like after like 17 more levels from that. I'm like, damn.
They put a mad
So
distance between them. Okay.
yeah, yeah, but it's pretty cool. It's a nice it's a nice change up. It does just enough to change up itself from Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
to make it its own game, but you can tell where they got most of the references from. Like
Right.
so,
Right. Right.
but but yeah, it's pretty fun. It's still pretty fun. I think it only has like right now 164 Tims in the game,
Okay.
but the game is kind of it's weird because it's called Tim Early Access. So the game is still being fleshed out,
It's still
but
early. I thought it was already. I thought it was fully out. It's still being
yeah,
made.
it's been out since last year, January 2020 is when it first came out. But it's called Early Access because as they're going, like the whole game hasn't even opened up yet.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like
Yeah, I thought
literally,
the game
yeah.
was like completely done. I thought it was gonna be
Nope.
adding DLC. Oh, okay. That's
No.
interesting.
So it's kind of almost like I mean, technically, it's kind of like an MMO, pretty much. It
Yeah.
really is an MMO. So
Right.
they're just releasing content and plus, I think COVID slowed everything down.
Oh yeah,
The
for sure, for
pandemic
sure.
slowed everything down. So,
Right.
but as they're going along, they're releasing new content, new content, new content, open up new areas and stuff like that. There's still places you go into in the game that still says work in progress. So it's not
Mm.
fully done, but it's still enough to keep you going. Like now they got raids. They got these little raids or whatever that you can do. And stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I got it back into Tim pretty good. Um
Word.
and now recently well just today I started playing Outriders again. So
Okay.
that's pretty much where I've been at so far. I ain't watched too much new and stuff like that. So yeah,
Cool.
that's
Cool.
my
Cool.
list.
Cool. Yeah, and we'll probably wrap it up in a second. So I'm gonna let Jeans let you go last and get your stuff out, and then because yes, getting a little windy over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly ain't been doing too much myself. I'm actually sitting here playing Honkai Impact as we do this because I still love this game.
Nice,
I've also
nice.
been playing Guilty Gear and yeah, mainly using Soul because I honestly want Jam. I need her to be one of the characters.
Yeah. So good news. I think the rumor right now is that from Deadly, she is one of the characters going to be in the season of DLC. So she should be coming out the next couple of months, probably, if that's the case.
Yeah, because I'm real curious to see how they're going to have her play, and I think she's going to be. I think she's going to be dope. I think they'll do
Oh
her
yeah.
justice.
I will say there's another character I played that's coming out in the near future. It will probably be Jams because I needed another Rushdown character, and I love Jams. She's one of my favorite characters in the series. I learned to play Guilty Gear playing Jam first, and then biking later, and then I made RoboCop when he was out.
Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot about RoboCop.
Yeah, man. I have no hope of seeing RoboCop ever again. He's not coming back. He was so awkward and so weird, and he was like basically made for the game he was in. So if he comes back, I'll be fucking lucky. But I love that. Bop, 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 bop. I love RoboCop. It's so goofy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, Guilty Gear really had a pretty big roster back in the day. Like
It did, yeah.
Guilty Gear XX is one of my favorite games, not necessarily because of how it played, but because of how much content was actually in the game.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
I love that game.
By the time you got to Guilty Gear XX Accent Core plus R, god damn, what a title! Guilty Gear XX Accent Core plus R. Jesus. Yeah. Alpha Part 2, Volume 2, Round 2. Yeah, like that roster was insane. It was like pretty insane. The thing about Guilty Gear that I love, again, I am not somebody that has anything against clone characters, but with Guilty Gear, there's no clones in the roster. Nobody plays like anybody else. The closest you ever got was, I want to say, Holy Order Soul. No, he didn't play Soul. He played different from Soul. So even you had two characters that were the same character. Yeah, you had two characters that were the same character. It was Soul and old school Soul, or like, you know, Holy Order Soul from the past or whatever. And they played completely different. And my brain was thinking about what's name. I was like, Holy Order Soul plays like Tsubaki and Blast Blue, at least initially. But that's Tsubaki. But anyway, yeah, no, Soul and Holy Order Soul, it's same character, play totally different. Like, there's no characters in that game that play the same. And especially in the older games, especially like, again, plus R, like, every character felt like they were different, like you're playing a different game almost. Like,
yeah,
RoboCai doesn't even get meter like anybody else. You have to put these things on the ground and walk over it and, like, stand on it. That's how he gains meter. Like, that's
Is he
wild.
RoboCai now?
Huh?
Is regular Kai in the game, or is it RoboCai now?
Yeah, no, yeah. So in Guilty Gear, I want to say RoboCai was introduced in Guilty Gear. Was it? It might have been Iska, but he was introduced in that game, and then in that game he was just a builder character, basically, like give him moves, whatever. And then going forward, they brought him in as his own character. I want to say starting with XX Reload. And yeah, he's another character. He's a totally different character. He's like, it's basically I don't want to go super deep into the story because it's way too contrived, but they make an army of RoboCais to like enforce the government or whatever, and so it's just a bunch of standard robots or whatever. But this one RoboCai like kind of grows, and so yeah, he's a robotic version of the Kai. The only thing they share in common is they both have the same DP, but it's a different command. Everything else is different. And RoboCai is like Faust levels of insane as far as like his movesets and stuff.
I imagine.
Like one of his moves I distinctly remember is that he jumps in the air. And he turns like he like pulls out a metal bicycle and like pedals in the air, and that's like his air dash. Yeah, it's hilarious. RoboCai, I love RoboCai. At first I was like, because I've been playing biking for the longest time, and I love biking too. By the way, like Bike's one of my favorite characters in the series.
She's still in there.
She's not in
Strive.
In Strive, but she is in XR, the last game. She's one of the last DLC characters. It was her and Answer in the same pack, and she's dope in that game too. But like, I remember I was playing bike, and I was like, let me just try RoboCai. Let me see what he plays like. And I played him, and for like the first 5 minutes, I was like, the fuck does this character do? And you know, I don't really play male characters like that much. So I'm like, I don't really care about this that much. But then I got intrigued, and I don't know what even made me do it, but I like tried him out again. And this is why I take my laptop to my old job, and I would play Guilty Gear on my lunch break when I was working at Mobile Post Productions. And I like got into him. I'm like, dude, this character is fun as hell. And so I started playing RoboCai every time I played Guilty Gear. I just loved him. He was so goofy. He's just so over the top. But then at the same time, like his idea behind him was really dope. Was that like you would have to do a combo, you know, do your juggles, whatever, bop, knock him down, and then set down a thing on a panel on the ground, and that's how you would get your super meter. You didn't get super off of, like attacks. And he also had this other function, which was that when he did moves, a lot of his moves would build his heat gauge, which he get. And again, with Guilty Gear, the old ones, everybody had such individual mechanics. Like he had a special move gas that you only power up by putting down these like charging pads, and he had a heat gas that whenever he did certain moves that would like heat him up, he would get more powerful attacks because he would get more heat behind his attacks. But if he overheated, he exploded and did damage to himself. So you had to like constantly, whenever you did combos and stuff like that, you have to like work in this one move he had that like released steam, which would like cool him down. It was really dope. It was like this dope like kind of push and pull of the match. Like you do these dope combos, whatever, and then you would end it and had to like let go of steam. And the steam itself did damage, so you could actually combo that. You could like do a combo into the steam, because like the more heat you get, the more powerful your steam gets to the point you can let a steam cloud to like set them on fire or whatever. Like, and it was so cool. It was like, and that's just me explaining RoboKai's basics right there. Like
See, that's why I like Arc System.
Yeah, and so
they come up with some creative stuff, bro.
Yeah. So I will say with Strive, you can definitely tell they pared a lot of that way down. Like even with XR, you can tell they pared it down somewhat, but with Strive, it's definitely pared down now to it's a lot more simplistic. So like a lot of the characters all kind of follow the same idea and the same moves and the same gadgets and stuff like that. Because yeah, like in the older games, like everybody had their own gadgets, their own supers. I mean, not their own supers. Everybody has their own supers, but like their own gadgets, their own mechanics, everything. It was like really, it was insane. But it also, to be fair, it also made the game really hard to approach because who do you tell people to use aside from like Soul and Kai? Soul and Kai were like the only characters that were like super basic. Everybody else had like their own thing or whatever. And I guess May.
Just because it was real familiar to other games.
Right, yeah, because they were basically the Ryu and Ken of the game, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
My bad, I rambled again. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. But yeah, as far as watching anything, I actually haven't really been on anything anime because I just been busy as hell. So I've gotten to squeeze in some games in Strive and Tekken. Did that tournament a while back, which was kind of cool. I'm actually signed up for the online Evo too, and I think that starts next Saturday.
Next Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh damn. Okay.
That's the prelims, I believe. Just kind of jump in, see where I can place.
Gotcha. Nice.
Nervous as shit about that, but I'm gonna do it again. I'm with it. I'm all about the competition when it comes to Tekken, man.
Hey man, no time like the present to do it, man. And when we start doing in-person stuff again, I'm gonna make sure I like link you to like you so you know the events to go to and stuff too. I was trying to get Jermaine into it, but he just wouldn't like consistently show up. Like he went out to a couple of them, but I was like, man, just come out. Like not even to tournaments, just come out to the weeklies. Like when they have weeklies, they want more people to show up, you know, and like introduce to the community. Like, and they're all cool. Like I've met very few people, if any, in the community that I'm like, nah, I don't hang around that person. Like everybody is like really cool, really welcoming. And it's not like it used to be a little bit harder to get around people and like, you know, introduce yourself and like really get, you know, but like now it's a lot more open and just, yeah, it's really dope. If you want to come around and hang out, man, just let me know. They play, I mean, I'm not sure what it is now, but I know before the pandemic, like every Friday we would play Tekken and Street Fighter and a bunch of games every Friday. But like right now we're just waiting. I guess it's kind of a wait and see what the schedule's going to be like. And I'll let you know when it becomes more regular though.
Okay, yeah, I'm also in that Arizona fighting game community.
Yeah,
too.
I saw. Yeah, you're in there.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from them in a while. I'm gonna have to like start posting in there so it can actually start popping up on my page again. But I've actually ran into people in that group in at Cobra Arcade.
Nice. A lot of them go there. Yeah, a lot of them go there.
There was one dude. Me and him was going back and forth in Dragon Ball Fighters. Then, like the asshole, he picks Bardock and just goes ham because Bardock was the man at that time. I was like, you would do that. But it was fun, though. It was really fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I play a couple of the cats. We play every Friday. We play online, obviously. We play Street Fighter, and now we're playing Guilty Gear right now. We kind of do both. But I met him. Actually, I just met him in 2018. My boy Kedrick, and shout out to Kedrick, Black Excellence. I first played him. I hated him because he plays. we talking about earlier, Adrian. He's a Laura main, and he's a good Laura main. He's an obnoxious Laura main, and he made me learn real quick about. Like I already knew about disrespect, but it had been a while, and I had to relearn about disrespect because he will hit you with shit continuously until you stop him. And like there's been matches where he will just keep pressing medium kick, and I will just keep walking into it because I'm trying to do
Well,
something specific, and I'm just
I
and I'm
hated
like,
to say this, Jelani, but Jay, you used to do that a lot.
oh yeah, I know. That
It's
is.
like people that fight you very complex. It's like, yeah, that was easy. But I used to remember Devin used to do the most
Oh
simplest,
God,
simplest shit, and
yes.
you would just keep getting hit. And I'm just like, wow. Out of all things,
Because I have a. So here's the thing with that, man. I overthink, and I overreact, and I never like sit down and pare down. I'm learning to get better at it now, and I think that's why I've been improving, especially in Street Fighter, because I'm starting to learn to like simplify things down, and also recognize when something's not working and stop doing it. Um, because yeah, like I would, especially, oh man, at that time too, that was like 2011, 2012. Oh
yeah.
yeah, I I had much less time tolerance for like get hit by dumb shit, and I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta stop it this way, or it's gotta be a thing I can do, and I just keep jumping into it.
It's
And
like
yeah,
low punch, low
yeah, low
punch,
punch, low
low
punch.
punch, low punch. It's like really, really, Jay.
That's where people. That's where
God
people.
damn
When people.
it!
When people like play me and then they like had these deep, intricate matches against me, and I'm just and like, man, you're really good. And I'm like, if only you knew what you had to do to actually win against me, you would not say that. Because because I play against people that would like see that, oh, he's not gonna block low and just keep hitting me and just keep hitting me. Or like they'll like do a jump in and I'll try anti-air it and I'll miss it, or there's stuff what I'm trying to use and I'll keep using it anyway. Cause I'm like, maybe I'm just timing it wrong. Maybe there's something I'm doing and I won't learn. I'm very stubborn is what it is. And that can be good, but it also can be very much a detriment when it comes to learning. So yeah, no, I've definitely learned that a lot with him. But then to the point that now I do that to other people too. Like I'm like, oh, you going all right, medium kick, medium kick. I'm like, oh, this what I look like, huh? Oh, I had a lot of epiphanies lately, man. It's like it's kind of eye opening. I'm like, oh, all these years, this what I look like. I see. Okay. But yeah, no, you're right. Devin used to do that shit to me because Devin was like, well, I'm gonna, I Devin
Just gonna
talk.
keep doing
I'm
it.
gonna keep
Just
on
keep.
doing it. If you're not gonna block it, I'm gonna keep on doing it. I was like, shut up. Don't say it that simply. It's gotta be more
That
complex
used to
than that.
kill me. I just be like, how do you do so well against the intricate shit, but the small, simple? It's like, yeah, he's overthinking it real
Right. You know
tough
what?
right
Like when people tell you like, when it comes to fighting games or like when it comes to competition in general, don't overthink it. Think of the simple solution. Just play your game. Don't try to, solve problems that aren't there. I'm the person that's next to that dictionary definition. When you look that up, I'm the person that's my picture. I'm sitting there like, that's me. I'm that person that you see in that photo. That's me right there. Because I am the epitome of overcomplicate shit. It's like, man, this dude is jumping this away. How do I stop it? Rather than just like press stand heavy punch. I'm like, well, if I move this way and then duck around this way, maybe he'll stop doing it. Okay, what if I do this and cancel it? And then like later on, I go, I mean, how do I actually stop this? Go to training mode, press stand heavy punch. Oh
now.
man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just like I noticed that a lot. I was like, yeah, Jay, you really overthink it.
I do. I think that's also why I started leaning towards simpler characters too, so it makes it so I can't overthink things as much. It's like, damn, I only got a dragon punch and a fireball. What do I do? This is either gonna be dragon punch or fireball, so take your pick. Yeah,
One or the other is pretty much
right,
it.
right. That and the fact I'm actually like the other part of it too is that I'm very bad at learning long combos. I'm not good at that. Like when it comes to like cross
Oh
Tekken, I
shoot,
think helped me because
I'm
it was
terrible at it.
cross Tekken helped me in essence because, and that's probably what I liked about it too, is that the combos were juggles, and with juggles it's a little more easy. You get more time to like, okay, they're in this position, I can wait this time and then kind of give my inputs exact and then like with the timing out. But when it comes to like that's why I'm struggling with Guilty Gear. Like again, like when it comes to like, all right, do this instant air dash, do this, bam, bam, hit this, launch them, do this set of buttons, bomb, bomb, boom, boom. I don't remember all that stuff. That's why I sucked at Marvel for the most part. Like try as I might, my brain just cannot keep all that stuff in my head. So I'm just like, oh yeah, do this and then switch to this and then do this and do this. And I also don't practice enough, so that's a lot of it too. But
Yeah, I don't usually have the patience to sit down and practice enough to really play fighting games. That's kind of probably my problem with it. Like the last fighting game I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna really put in some time. I think it was Tekken 5 with
woo,
Leo and all them in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when
Well,
I
no,
got Leo, I was
Leo
like
was 6, Tekken 6.
Tekken 6. I keep
Yeah,
losing because so many damn Tekkens.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
so when
you ain't
when
lying.
Leo was introduced, that was my character. I love Leo. So I went in the lab a little
I
bit and
love him
learned a
too.
little bit about Leo. But then after a while, I realized I just don't have the hand-eye coordination to really be pressing these buttons like that. So I was just like, well, I'll stick to my my basic 2-3 hit combos. while next thing you know, I'm woggle juggled and all kinds of shit. That's one of the reasons why I didn't play against y'all too much, because y'all yeah,
See,
no.
the thing about that though, what I realized too, man, is like if you're not like a huge combo person, one of the best solutions of that is playing the grappler. That's why I started playing Mika in 5. I'm playing Mika now for fun. She's not my main character or anything. I just like playing her for fun sometimes. Like playing Mika,
Hmm.
she is really fucking fun. Just want to put that out there for anybody wondering. But like, because it's just like when I play Mika, I can kind of not go. Let me ask. Oh, it's my phone. Let me not say. I'm not gonna say you can go brain dead, but I don't have to think as heavily about combos. I do have to think about mix-ups. So I want to like I got to work on that, like keep people in the corner, stuff like that. But as far as
Hmm.
like yo, link it to this, to this, to this, it's like no, do this, and then they reset, and then like, do you grab them or do you jump grab them? Like you make them make choices and make bad decisions. But I have to remember like I have to really remember like super long chains, and
Yeah.
yeah, and like and the whole thing is like the thing that people have told me they hate about playing my Mika right now is that I'm a very, as opposed to before, I'm a very patient player now, and so I will block for like 10 minutes and won't press a button, which again, because I'm stubborn, can also work to my detriment because he can just throw me all day, or like I'll eventually throw tech and he just punish me.
Yeah.
But because of that, I'm a patient grappler, and that is frightening. If you've ever played a grappler that's patient, i.e. a grappler that's like, I'm going to walk forward and not do much and just block. Or if you're assault me, I'm just going to block. Because at any moment, they're just going to grab you and you're going to lose half your life and be in the mix up
Pretty
and
much.
lose the other half of your life. And
And
so, like,
Keith.
yeah,
That's
I
why
can't.
Zangief is so great.
Yeah, like, well, the only problem playing Geef is that I like mobility, and Geef's not mobile. That's the only reason I don't really play him.
But
Cause
if you get caught in his shit, it's over.
oh yeah, Geef though, yeah, like in Geef right now they actually
Geef.
nerfed him pretty bad in
Geef.
5, and it's oh wait who?
I said Geef.
Oh, I said Geese. I'm like Geese. Wait a minute, what? Like Geese isn't a grappler. He's a counter character. Stop it.
So I
No,
said Geese. Nah,
Geese.
not him.
Yeah, Geese. Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
not Mister. Not Mister. I can grapple everything and kill everybody. Or I
Predictable.
mean, counter everybody.
Geese. It's hilarious watching Geese in action, dog. Because Geese is like, you be like doing your shit and then you're like, predictable. You're on the ground. Predictable. Reggie Stone. Like, all right, man, whatever, dog.
Stand up.
Yeah, stand up. Right. I'll stain my hands with your blood.
It's weird though. Like games like Tekken, I can't really play
Mm.
because they do have the weird the combos that be complex. But Street Fighter stuff like that, yeah, I can get with it because it's not really, even on the basic level of Street Fighter, I feel like I could be competitive. But as far as Tekken, I don't feel like I'm competitive enough when it comes to Tekken, or can be, because I'm not no combo person, and I think those games really rely on it.
The thing about
Street
Tekken,
Fighter does
man,
too, but
yeah, but the thing about Tekken is like it didn't used to be that way. Tekken didn't get like super
oh
juggle
yeah,
heavy until I want to say 6 when they introduced the whole bound mechanic, which is like because in Tekken 5, first of all shit hurt more, and that's the game that I
yeah,
played the most in the love. Like shit hurt a lot more, like stuff because I can guarantee that because stuff I did in 5 no longer did like 50% damage or 70% damage in 6. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is
yeah.
different. But yeah, in Tekken 5, like juggles you had juggles, but they weren't
That
nearly as
bounce
bad.
shit.
Yeah, like that they ended or added bound, which is now tailspin in 7. I think tailspin is better. It's better executed, but at the same time, it's still kind of the same deal where it's like these combos, these juggles get like super long. And there were long juggles in 5, but they weren't necessary. You could still go without them for the most part. It didn't feel as baked in. You know what I mean? But like now, it's
Right.
definitely like there's a huge emphasis on getting like long combos into strings into like mix up and whatnot. And that's
I mean,
not to
it's
say
not
one is
like
better or worse than the other. It's just it is what it is. I
it's
prefer
not like
the other
Tekken
side.
ain't, and Tekken's always had its long combos, but
Yeah, but they weren't. It's not. It wasn't as emphasized as it is now.
yeah, they
It
weren't
wasn't
like
as
they are now. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like
It was in the
now
form
it's
of
just like,
10
oh
hit
my
combos.
god.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like you would have
yeah,
like something like that, a string or something like that, or you would have you would have like I said, you would have long juggles, but a lot of the time you have to like earn that juggle. Not saying, I feel like I'm saying it's not earned. It was like the juggles weren't nearly as long, they weren't as oppressive, or not, I don't know, they weren't as much of a factor. Whereas like now, yeah, to get like decent damage, you definitely got to do much longer juggles. Which to me is, I mean, for me personally, it's kind of like, I'm kind of mid ground on 7. I don't hate it like I did 6. I did not like Tekken 6. Um, but I don't hate Tekken 7. I actually like Tekken 7 to an extent, but it's not my favorite fighting game. I'll play it because Don still plays it, and geez, me and you haven't played Tekken 7, but if you ever want to play, I'll see if I can catch you when we play something and get down. I haven't played Tekken in a while though. We haven't played in a good minute, so maybe I range that kind of thing up. But yeah, to your point with like Street Fighter, that's more my style of gameplay anyway. I like something that's more grounded and more just simpler combos. Even though everybody wants Street Fighter to go to the route of Street Fighter 4, which is one of the reasons I didn't like 4, was the more long technical combos and shit. I'm like, that's not my thing. This is not my deal.
And
Aside from
that's
other
to
issues
me
I didn't
that's
have
like that's
before.
not even and to me I don't think that's never been a Street Fighter's thing to
Well,
be
right,
like
and yeah, no, it wasn't.
extra long combos or anything like that. Street
The
Fighter wasn't built off of that.
the only Street
They
Fighter game that had Street Fighter that had long combos was Alpha 3, and that was because that was unintentional. At least I believe it was unintentional. I gotta check and make sure on that. Don't quote me on that one. I know somebody's like, "What? It was intentional." I think it was unintentional if I remember correctly, but it became part of the meta, and so that was that. But like before that, yeah, like if you go back to all the older games, no, combos weren't that long, and then even Third Strike, like as much as Third Strike is lauded, Third Strike doesn't have insanely long combos except for like one or two exceptions, even those are like kind of just Grenades and stuff, and those are meant to be long specifically. But
hmm
yeah, everybody else has like pretty simplified combos. And 4 is not even that complex as far as combos, honestly, until you get to like the stuff that's
really
like
it
training
isn't.
room only stuff. But like as far as your in-game combos that aren't like just show off combos that are actually bread and butter, those aren't that bad. Um, which always strikes me as weird when they say like 5 has like combos. I'm like, I don't see it. 5 seems like the same as the other games to me. Um, you
Pretty
know,
much.
so yeah, this is weird how people react to that. But yeah, no, like I'm not a long combo person. I feel you on that, but I'm a more grounded game person, so that's why Guilty Gear's been so. I love Guilty Gear as a series. I've been playing since Double X released, but I've always been very bad at Guilty Gear, and
Yeah,
I've
I
been
haven't
like,
been very good at that neither.
yeah, I was like, and as bad as I was at Guilty Gear, I was extremely bad at Exard. But that's also because I didn't play Exard when it first came out. I didn't play it until
Now,
Till
Blaze
Rev 2
Blue
came
was
out.
my joint when that first came out. I loved Blaze Blue.
I like to play Blues, but I didn't stick with it. But it seemed pretty cool. But again,
Can you
same kind of deal.
can
Mm-hmm.
you believe I've actually been playing Guilty Gear since the original?
Yes,
Woo! I
I
can
could
believe it.
believe it.
I believe it, but yeah, it's wild though, cause like it's such a different game from the original. Like
Yeah.
it's funny. I remember when the original released, and I remember looking at this thing. This is cool, and I was gonna buy it someday, and I just never got around to it. And then on a whim, I think it was like 2004, like the year before I moved out here, I bought Guilty Gear Double X for my PS2. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And then I came out here. Somehow I lost my disc. I don't know if somebody stole it at a tournament or something, or if I just lost it. I'm gonna assume I just lost it because I lost a lot of shit. Um, and then that's when I got introduced to Guilty Gear like on PC and like playing those versions, and that's when I got Reload. And I was like, oh shit, I can play it on my laptop. Oh fuck, this is happening.
Man, Adrian, my fault. Carnage.
Hey, it don't matter,
Don't matter.
Steven. See,
But the one he's talking about, Guilty Gear Double X. What I want to say, I put RPG hours into that game.
You crazy.
Woo!
Be- Here's the thing, though. They had hundreds of challenges in that game,
Yeah, they
and a lot of
did.
those
Yeah, they did.
challenges actually awarded you different versions of characters.
Right.
So I want to say there was 20, maybe 25 characters in the game. Each of them had a shadow form and a gold form. The shadow
Oh
form,
God.
yeah, the shadow form is when you always had your special move, and the gold forms, they were just like really, really strong. But in order
Oh,
to
wow.
get those, you had to do these crazy ass challenges to unlock them. And yo,
Didn't you have to actually?
time I took doing all that, especially to get gold soul. Oh my
Cause
god!
didn't you have to get
Figured
those?
he'd be the
I
hard one.
know. One of the challenges was like Eno as a boss, like her final boss form.
Oh God,
Which-
is that the one with the damn guitar?
Yeah, her final.
I,
So her
I
supers
hate
now,
her.
like her supers right now in the game, and especially in Strive, they all reference this boss version of her from I think it was Double X. It might be Double X. It might have been Reload. I can't remember. But it was one of the challenges we had to actually beat her in a match that like unlock certain stuff. And she had that one super that filled the screen with icons, and it was like you could block it, but it did so much block stun.
That's the one where she did the little super that filled it with the musical notes or whatever.
Yeah,
that when
the
pattern.
Yeah, the chip. It did so much chip damage, not block stun. It did so much chip damage. Oh my god,
I hated her. I did not like her. When was she introduced?
Well, Eno been in the game since I want to say Double X.
Well,
that version, that boss version, I want to say was Double X.
The boss version is the one that I remember playing against.
Yeah,
Because I remember when I first started out with the first Guilty Gear I played, the first character that was that crazy was there was a version of Soul they had that was insane.
Probably Gold Soul.
Order Soul.
Which one you say?
I said probably Gold. Or wasn't Gold.
It wasn't Gold Soul. It was one of the older games.
It was Order Soul.
Yes.
Well, Order Soul wasn't until
well, one of the ones I think it was Soul. It was the Order Soul
or he first showed up in Accent.
Yeah, Accent Core. Yeah, that's my Order.
I don't remember my Guilty Gear games, but I know it was a Soul Bad Guy version of him. He was insane. Then there was Dizzy when she was the boss version. Yeah. Oh my god.
A lot of when they were like boss versions in those games were like really insanely hard, and it's like, oh my god. Because I remember like one of the challenges I had to do.
I'd rather fight Bison on 8 stars with Dawson.
I don't know about that. You ain't play 8 star Bison in a while. I don't know about that. As hard as that is, 8 star Bison was dumb.
Well, they were dumb because they kill you.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they man. Actually, you know what? I'll take it back. I don't know. It's a hard fight because 8-star Bison, dog. Like, man, that still give me fucking nightmares to this day. 8-star Bison was like,
well, he wasn't worse than Alpha's Bison's version.
Oh god, don't remind me of that shit. I'll never get over that. That shit scarred me for life, dog. All I wanted to do was unlock
World Tour.
Yeah. On Dreamcast, all I wanted to fucking do was unlock Shin Akuma. That's all I wanted. And I ain't sure in beating him actually unlocked it. When I got to that shit, because the thing that makes it suck is not that it's like that match specifically, but the fact that there's 2 matches before to get to that match, and if you lose, you got to go back to the beginning of it. So the first match is fucking. I want to say it's like I'm sorry. It's Evil Ryu and
Akuma.
Yeah,
it's Akuma.
In Akuma, I think. Yeah, it's like Evil Ryu and Akuma in a dramatic battle against your Akuma who melts. But you beat that was not that bad. You beat that, and then there's this battle that's like, it's constantly Bison, Evil Ryu, Bison, Evil Ryu. I think that's right.
Something like that.
It's something like that. You got to fight for them. You beat that.
Like 30. Wasn't it 34 stars in World Tour mode to get there or something like that?
You had to get that to get to this match. It opened like a secret island or something like that. And you get there, and then these are the matches you have to fight once you got there. And then you fight those matches, and then the last one is against the double Xism max boss power Bison.
Yeah, Shin Bisons.
Shin Bison.
Psycho.
And that shit was unblockable in the air. Fucking did 18 million years of chip damage.
It took up the whole damn screen.
Took up the whole screen. And you could be doing, I don't care how good you were doing. That motherfucker, all you see is one of them Bisons leap back and you hear the charge up sound. Oh, Psycho. I'm like, all right, man. It was one time, man. I killed one of them, and one of them was left, and I had barely any life. And that motherfucker did that shit. I cut the Dreamcast off. I'm done, man. I'm finished for the month.
And that was a nightmare.
Like,
yeah, because
like it stopped because it was the super, and it's almost like he's just telling you, you fucked up, right?
Right.
He will always catch you when you jump.
Oh my god! If you jump, yes. If you jump, on the TV, like, if jump, go to Psycho.
To jump the whole match.
Right.
Like,
I'm not gonna jump.
Get that stupid laugh. Go off the screen.
Psycho
Crusher.
Psycho Crusher.
He
was a bad substitute. Key and Peele. Oh, why you?
Oh,
that's
man,
just crazy, bro.
The thing is, like, as bad as he was, man, he still don't fuck with some of the KOF bosses, man.
No, no.
Well, no,
See,
I think he's probably worse than
Capcom.
Marvel.
Well, he could be, but that Capcom versus SNK, the
Oh,
fucking
what's the name?
God
God
Regal.
Rugal? God
Oh,
Rugal's the
oh
most.
my God, bro! What the? Wow!
And it's funny you
really?
said that. I was going to bring that up and say Guilty Gear was almost on the level of KOF bosses because
Yeah.
Oh
if
yeah.
you think about the main bosses they had, Order Soul, Dizzy, Eno, and Justice. Like
Oh,
I didn't
Justice
forget
was
about
dumb.
Justice.
Oh
Justice was
yeah, I
dumb.
forgot about
I
Justice.
hated fighting Justice.
Oh.
I hated fighting Justice. Like I beat her eventually, but I was like, this is the dumbest fight. But every time I think about KOF, man, I always go back to what's name. I fucking go back to Ignis, dog, and it's like that Ignis to this day is still the most ridiculously dumb boss I've ever fought in my life. No, well, he got beat by Makai, who was in the same series. It's both KOF bosses. Ignis, if you ever, I might link a video in the chat or something, man. Ignis and King of Fighters 2001, which not a lot of people play because 2001 was admittedly not that great. But Ignis is a stupid boss. He has a super that is a one-hit kill combo, and he will just do it.
Is Ignis the one that wore purple and white and he had white hair?
No, Ignis is like he had like this big gigantic like cape with like blades on it, and then he has white hair because of course anime villains always have white hair. He's like kind of a pretty boy looking thing. He had like yeah, I had to show you a picture of him. And like actually, let me see if I can find one real quick. Cause I'm not gonna find a video, but I'm gonna find a picture of him real quick. You might be right. It might be we might be talking about the same character. Maybe he is purple. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, God Regal.
Ignis.
God Regal was a fucking. I hated him.
Oh, you're right. It is purple. Yeah. It was purple. It's purple. Yeah.
It
Yep.
is purple.
Yeah, this is exactly. Yeah, this is it. I'm putting it in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I remember doing that fight, but I also got that character in that KOF All Stars because I play that from time to time.
There you go. You see in the wait, it's on stream info. I put in the wrong chat. I'm dumb. Let me copy it to general. There you go. It should be in general now.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, because his cape comes like little jab attacks or whatever.
Yeah, because he got the same cape as Zero, who's like his underling. They had like the same kind of cape attacks. Him and Chrysalit. They all got the same attacks. It's like, but just Ignis is just a whole nother level of dumb to dumb. But the thing about KOF bosses that's so funny is that like as strong as they will be, there's always some AI weakness to them. So with Ignis, one day I remember I was trying to get like the women's team ending. I was trying to get some ending. I don't know whose team it was. But fucking I was fighting him with everybody I knew how to play, man, and he just kept every time I would get close to even half life, just one combo kill. I'm like, are you serious? Finally, I picked King, and all I did was sit on the other side of the screen and just throw fucking venom shots.
I remember Ski. Venom
strike, double strike. He did nothing. He took all of it and died.
I don't know if you ever play Art of Fighting?
Oh yeah, yeah, the classic. That's what she. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever played with King, and she used to piss me off.
She was stuffing that game. Yeah.
Strike.
Yeah, I've been a huge King fan for a while. It's kind of weird, 'cause like I say that, but I don't play her that often. But I actually love King as a character. I think she's awesome. I've liked her since
she's
then.
cool. She's
and
a
like,
cool ass character.
Like a lot. Actually, I guess on the fight on those, we still talking about fighting games most of the time. I will say, King of Fighters 15 is looking fucking beautiful, and when that game comes out, that would be my favorite game.
One I'm gonna have to try it out. I'm definitely gonna have to try it out.
I really hope
I'm gonna try it out too. They brought back. Well, yeah, they brought back my boy Yashiro.
Oh man, yes.
Ralph was one of the first charge characters I've ever really enjoyed using.
Mm-hmm. Man, like for me, so I played 14 a lot. I love 14. I always speak up for 14 every chance I get. I love 14. I will tell you about 14 till the cows come home. As bad as I am at the game, I love 14. But that said, my main character in 14 was Luong. And I played the hell out of her to the point that she's one of the few characters I practiced and knew are like her. Like I had her combos down. I could actually sometimes put them off in matches. Like I said, I'm bad at KOF, but I love the series. So they announced her in the game, and they already announced Blue Mary as a launch character rather than a DLC character. So I was already happy, but they announced that she's in the game. I'm like, I was ecstatic. I'm like, yes, I have my main character. Because in 14, I built all my teams around Luong. Like Luong was my main, and like everybody else was like kind of there. I liked a lot of characters in the game, but so then they announced Vanessa, and they announced Vanessa, Blue Mary, and Luong as a team. I'm like, this. I have to buy the game. I'm legally obligated to buy this game because those are my favorite characters in the series. And then Shermie's also in the game, so I'm like, I love Shermie. I love Yashiro. I love that team. Actually, yeah, I love that. What's the name? TCYS or Team Orochi. You know, Shermie, Yashiro, Chris. They're alive and they're back, and I'm happy. So I'm like, this game is already for me the best KOF I've not played. So I'm like, I'm already geeked. Like so many characters up, and the thing is with KOF that I love, which is wild, is that the game. And I really hope this is the game that really gives KOF the Western the Western presence it deserves. Not saying it's not gotten presence before, but I think the only thing that's really held it back is just its production values and the fact that it always came out around the time that something else was like kind of brewing at the same time, and there's always like one shortcoming that kind of cut it. So I want them to. I hope to God they put some form of rollback in this game. I'm gonna be on that bandwagon. Like, please put rollback in this game. I'll still play it, but I will be less enthused if it doesn't have rollback because it's gonna mean that the online community is not gonna be strong. Not gonna be strong if it doesn't have rollback. But aside from that, just visually, it looks so much better than any game they've put out to this point. And I'm not even a huge visual guy. I love 14. I thought 14 visuals were fine, but everybody else hated it. And because of that, they took it as budget fighter. And I'm like, no, man, this game is actually pretty cool. It's pretty damn deep, and it's a damn fun series. You should give it a try. But, you know, it's like speaking into the wind. Like, sometimes people aren't going to hear it. And I would love to play it more, but there's wasn't a strong community that built up out here for where I'm at. So, you know, I just kind of watch from afar. But I really want to see this game do well. Like, I don't know if I can say that enough. Provided the game is fun. Like, if the game comes out in the shit, then oh well. But right now, from what I'm seeing, what we've seen in the videos and demos and stuff, I'm like, it looks so fun. It looks like so good, and I really want to see it do well, man. I am like hoping above all hope. That's what I'm saying. Like, the crazy thing about it is, like, a lot of games coming out right now, you know, Guilty Gear. I love it to death, and I'm so glad to put so much detail in the characters. But it launched with a 16 character roster in 2021. That's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and same thing with like Street Fighter 5 when it launched back in 2016, came out with a 16 character roster, and then you had to pay for all these seasons. That's frustrating, and that's what makes it hard.
Games like that are definitely like been, you know, franchise games like that, when you know you got like billions of characters that can actually be put into it,
right?
And they only give you a small roster or like 16 characters,
right?
That would piss me. That pisses me off too.
It frustrates
I can understand it for games like how DBZ Fighters was something completely new.
Yeah.
So,
and even then, DBZ Fighters, as much as it
16,
was,
yeah, give you a little 12, 16 man roster, even though they came out with like I think 20.
Yeah, I was gonna say DBZ came out like 20 characters. Like, so even then, like, even though it's kind of my only frustration with DBZ's roster, which is an issue I have with DBZ in general, is there's no female characters. So, and I'm like, I generally like to play female characters. For me, it's like, damn, there's not many I'm interested in aside from 18, and even in, for some reason, they team up with 17. Now. I mean, yeah, it's her. So now they got her, Videl, 21, and
21 and Kefla. 18, Videl and Kefla,
which is still only 4 characters, but it's better than it was before. It's just, I mean, I knew I was not in DBZ.
Because the DBZ universe don't really have a lot of female
characters.
Right,
what I was going to get to. That's my other problem with DBZ. Like, I like DBZ, but that's my frustration with DBZ, too. Like, there's not a ton of female characters you can pick from. But there's more than the game has. So, but anyway, I don't want to get too off into that. To the point, like, even I can give an example with ASW themselves, which is, I love Grand Blue, and I really want to play Grand Blue more. And I would love to play it on PC, particularly. But I'm not paying almost $200 to get that game and get all the characters. It's just not happening, and they won't put it on sale for God knows what reason. Like, I've been waiting for it to go on sale PC, but like to get the deluxe edition that has all the characters for season 1, I would pay like, I think it's like either $89.99 or $90. It's like, let's say we'll just say $89. We'll say $90 because it's no lower than that. I know that for sure. We'll say $90. Right? No, actually, I'll say the back. It's $80. It's 70 something, and that's like I'm thinking of the deluxe version. That's the one with just the season pass, like $70 or sorry, $80. So we say 80, right? And then each season is like $30. And it's so far we're on season 2 and we're still going. So you're talking another $60 on top of that. So you're already looking at what, 80, 60, $140 to play that game on PC. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not. I'm just not doing it right now. I'm like, I want to play this game. I want to play it on PC. So I can at least get a better experience. I don't like playing on PS4. And the problem with that is it's also delay-based netcode. So I'm already like, I don't want to play that shit. It's delay-based. And it's frustrating because I like the game a lot, and I like the characters, I like the design, everything about it. It's just it costs way too much. I'm like, I just can't do this right now.
I will say though, the online on that game actually feels really good. Every
Mm-mm.
time I've played online, I didn't have any problems.
Nah, that's not been my experience with delayed best netcode. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah, I've played against some pretty crazy folks, but yeah, the connections always seem pretty good.
yeah, it depends. You know what? To be fair, I've not played in a while, so it might be better now. But I just don't like delayed based netcode because that means I have to delay my inputs. Or sorry, I have to retime my inputs to account for that delay, which is super obnoxious. But like rollback is just the better solution all around, and this is I really want them to implement in everything that they do. So to the KOF point, King of Fighters generally like King of Fighters 14, where everybody else has launched all these season passes and make you pay for like 4 more characters. King of Fighters launched for 50 characters, 50 complete characters. Just throwing it out there, 50 characters at launch, and then by the end of the time they got finished their DLC, which was like 4 characters per pack or whatever, and they had that on sale or whatever. You ended up with like I think 58 characters because it was 4-4. I'm pretty sure it was 58 characters. I mean, it actually was 2 more after that. So I want to say it was 60, but don't quote me on that number. It's like 58 characters. Man, look, King of Fighters, man, they put in their work. I really want this game to do well. I hope it does well. I hope if it launches with even like the roster has right now dwarfs most games launch rosters, and it's only like 24 characters or 22 characters in. Like we still got more characters, and they're still putting out more characters. Like we got another character trailer releasing next week. They do one every week for a character, except for certain weeks like this week or this last week. Like so, if they keep going and they get to a point of like a 40 character roster on launch for a team game, come on, man, come on.
Oh
Man.
wow,
like
yeah.
that's value right there. Like I want this game to do well. I really do, and I want the next Street Fighter game to come out. It doesn't have to have a roster of like 30 characters at launch. But give me at least 20. Give me 24.
That's
give me
what I
some
would say
variety.
about 2024.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like that'd be easy.
Right.
That'd be easy for them to do is 2024.
Yeah.
Especially if you done release so many DLC characters for the previous game. At the end of the day, the next game that comes out, like Street Fighter 6, if that's what they're gonna call it, it might be some Street Fighter 5 reboot, remake.
Nah, it's gonna be like Street Fighter 6.
Double XL two times over.
It'd either be Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter Alpha 4. Either one of those. It's gonna go one of those games.
So if it's Street Fighter 6 or Alpha 4, whatever, it should have like at least no less than 24 people.
Yeah, I agree.
At this moment in time, you got too many characters to just be leaving off anybody.
And that's
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that's my other frustration too. Now after this, I'll probably wrap it up because we are running like 3 hours. My other frustration too is that like a lot of these games, like I end up buying them and playing them, not waiting for new characters, but waiting for characters that I just played in the last game. So my frustration right now, I love Strive to death right now. I'm really enjoying it, but my number one frustration, I'm glad they're making new characters, but it kind of annoys me internally that I'm once again waiting to buy characters that I already have played in a game that was just out like 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm like, this is annoying. Like, because now I'm like you said, like you're like waiting for Jam, right? It's like, well, now you gotta wait for Jam to release a DLC again when she was just in the last game. And it's like, I wish these companies could just carry these rosters over somehow. I know it's a new engine, so it's being built, they're doing new things with it and whatnot, but it's like, man, if you even have to delay it for another year, just like get a decently good sized launch roster that has like more characters in it. I would prefer that than to putting out this version of the game. Like even with Street Fighter 5, much as I love it now, and I've kind of gone back and forth on this over the years, but I actually love what Street Fighter 5 is at now. But the fact that a lot of the characters I've been waiting on are characters that were like from old games. I'm waiting for Rose. I'm like, damn it, she's coming in the last season. Like at this point, yeah, I have to make a decision to play or not because I only got like maybe a year left on the game before it's gonna be like time to move on to 6. And that's the frustration I've had with fighting games in general is that like with other game types, if you're playing an RPG like you're playing Pokemon or you're playing Final Fantasy, you're playing Dragon Quest, you get DLC for those games. You can play them anytime you want, and they're still relevant. Pokemon may be less so as far as competitive, but you can still play it as an RPG. It's relevant. You're playing, an adventure game, or like you're playing like an Uncharted or something like that, and they have like a DLC quest come out. You can play that game 2 years from now, and it'll still be relevant. With fighting games, when they put DLC out, once that game's competitive life is over, unless you're strictly playing by yourself or with a group of friends, the game DLC might as well not even exist anymore. Like it's just not going to be that much value to you. At least it feels that way to me. This person correct me if I'm wrong. That's the way I feel right now with like Street Fighter 5. Like I didn't think about it until 5 because I put so much time into 5 and there's so much DLC I bought for 5 that once this game ends, I'm like that value kind of loses its luster because I can come back to it 5 years from now, but I'm not gonna have anybody to play. Like who's gonna be playing it? You know, be playing 6. It's like, well then that stuff has lost its value, and that's made me really reevaluate how I make purchases in fighting games now. Because I used to just buy it when it was like, all right, it's coming out, I gotta buy it because I'm competing. But now it's like that, it just doesn't make sense, and they rarely ever sell like Game of the Year editions with fighting games for some reason. I don't know fucking why. They just don't. It's really frustrating.
Probably because of the same reason, just right there, what you're saying. Because once that like span's over with,
they don't care.
They done made their money and it's over with. So it's like that's the downside to fighters is because of the content. Like it's like once people have moved on to the next episode, you might still get a few people that still have or still play the older game, but they mostly the community mostly moves on to the new thing that's out, unless that new thing is like lackluster, then they'll go back to the old one. But typically the fighting game community, they move on to the next big thing. And when that happens, then that whole game dies. Only games that I can understand getting value of is like you can say in this case, you know, Dragon Ball Z Fighters has had a great community with it.
Yeah.
But, you know, as long as they keep putting out DLC, you know, people will probably still play it because that is not, there's no thought process of, is there going to be a Dragon Ball Z Fighters 2? You know, there's nothing that's out that says that's going to happen. We probably suspect it's going to happen, but because it's a new IP, you know, it's still going to last a lot longer because they can milk it longer.
Right.
But once they come out with that Fighters 2 game, then it's just like, well, there's no point in even playing the other one, and all that, like you said, all that content you didn't spend your money on is irrelevant now. So now it's like, well, I have to move on to the next thing because ain't nobody playing the old one anymore.
Right, yeah. And I think that would be. Oh, go ahead.
Unless the new one flops, that's basically that would be the only saving grace for you spending all that money on in a fighting game is if the new version flops.
Nah, yeah, you know what? You actually just explained why a lot of people cheer against new games now. Now you made that make sense to me. That's why they do it. It's like, I hope this game flops so I can play my old game.
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna give us rosters with only like 12 or 13 characters from a previous game that had like 25, give us 5 characters for free in the first season.
It'd be nice. You know what? You know what game did that? You know what game did that? Samurai Showdown did that for the first few weeks. If you bought the game, if you pre-ordered it, you got the first season free. That's how I got the first season.
See, that makes sense. Yeah.
But like everybody else is like, nope, you gotta pay for it. And I will give Street Fighter this much credit, which is that Street Fighter, for as much as they did, one of the best things they did was make that Champion Edition, which was the game for like I think $29.99 or something like that, and it gave you everything from all the seasons up until the last season, which is the current season they're doing now. So you have to buy that season separately, and their seasons were cheaper, and you can actually buy characters with in-game money anyway. Up to this point, so like you didn't have to always buy the seasons. I just did because it was easier for me, and that way I could put the money towards costumes and stuff. But like if you bought and it turned out like if you bought Champion, even if you didn't buy anything, you bought Champion Edition on top of what you already had, it was actually cheaper. And I'm like, this is actually pretty smart. Which is, you know, it's weird because people don't give Capcom credit for that, but I'm like, they did it the right way in that sense. I still like the way they handled seasons before that, but that specific instance was good. Whereas like again, coming back to Grand Blue, and I know I'm kind of beating this horse to death, but it's because I'm fucking mad about it.
Leave the horse alone.
if that horse would fucking go on sale, I would stop beating it, but it's not going on sale. That horse is still full price. It makes no goddamn sense. This game is like 2 years old now. Price. Right. Lower your goddamn price. No, but it's like the game is still full price. And it's like it makes no. I think it's been on sale like once or twice. That's what I've been told. And even then, it only went down like it was 60. Now it's like 45. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you don't bring this price down to something reasonable, like, and the season passes, like I said, like either 19 or like 29. It's something high, and I'm like, it's frustrating, man. It's just that's a frustration I'm seeing across all fighting games.
The same thing like Grand Blue. Who made Grand Blue?
Another Arxis game.
It's Arxis game.
Oh, okay.
Arxis DLC is Arceus DLCs
I don't think I
they're
played Grand
continuations.
Blue. That's not because the one I played with them was Blaze Blue.
Yeah, no, Grand Blue Fantasy
Yeah.
is more recent. Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy is based on
Okay.
the online gotcha game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For you, Jelani, if you're looking for the season pass for the female characters they do have in it, I would say just get the characters separately because I have the first season pass, and yeah, not all those characters are really worth having.
Well, the thing about a fighting game when I buy the season pass, the reason I try and do it because that way I have access to like trying everything out and learning stuff if I run into it like online because like that's the only way I can practice, right? And that's the other frustration. Like I would be less irritated by it if I could if I could try all the characters in training mode. Like okay, sure, you can't use them in match, you can't play with them, but here you can try them out in training mode and test stuff out and see how you play against the stuff and learn stuff. Because otherwise,
why games
I
don't
have
do
to
that.
because they don't have to. Because nobody.
I mean, I know they don't have to.
No, that's
but
what I'm saying. Like,
that's a great
yeah,
selling, great selling tool for the damn new DLC.
right.
It's just like let me try the character first and see if I want to buy it.
Let me just play. Let me
Because y'all
take,
gonna
like,
sell them by itself.
yeah. Let me just take them in training mode. Can I put them in training mode and see what they play like? That's all I ask. Like, because if that's the case, then I could just buy the character I want, and then if I have to train against something, I can train against it in training mode. But most of the times, Street Fighter does it too. You cannot access the character at all until you buy them. Like, period.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're like on some kind of like special or something where they have like try the characters, all the characters unlocked for this week. Like okay, cool. But meanwhile, on the week that is not offered, I'm getting fucking beat up by this DLC character that I can't access. Now this has been a trial on Street Fighter because again, I've bought everything for Street Fighter, twice. Don't get me started on that shit. That's just frustration. That's a whole other frustration. But that one's not gonna get solved because that goes to console makers and PC. And the fucking wall garden shit. That's another conversation. Actually, I will touch that a little bit just before I end this because I'm already on the rant anyway. Fuck it, might as well rant a little more. I really hate that if I buy something for one version, I don't get access to it for another. Which I know that's asking a lot because that's asking console makers to allow me to transfer my purchases to another environment. But it's fucking annoying. Yeah. I hate that I bought Street Fighter 5 for PS4. Realized that I want to play it on PC again, and now I got to rebuy the stuff that I missed on PC because I can't transfer those purchases over. Even though my account is a Capcom Fighters Network account.
Yeah, right. That makes no sense.
It's annoying. It's like my purchase is there,
but Capcom game, my purchase should just transfer to whatever.
And like, no, you got to buy another version. It's like, all right, man, and it's the same, and that goes for every console maker, from Sony to Microsoft to Nintendo. It's really obnoxious because like everybody's like on the cross play thing, which I get. That's totally I understand. That is a worthy battle to fight. I just want cross purchasing, where if I buy this version, not even the actual game, but if I buy the DLC for this version over here, for this, like, please just let me take that over somewhere else. Like, but I know that's not going to happen because that's asking console manufacturers to get with their own profit, and it's not going to happen. That's what really sucks, and it really makes it frustrating because a lot of times, especially with fighting games, they're locked to Sony systems. So it's like usually going to be on PS4 because most of them are Japanese developers. And I'm like, cool. I don't want to play on PS4. Like, period. I just don't like playing on PS4. It sucks. But now I want to transfer.
How dare you?
I want to have a copy of this on my PC version. Like, no, you got to buy it again. And so I've done that with a couple of games, and I regret it every time. It's got to be done. Thankfully, with Street Fighter, I already had a version of it on PC that I bought for cheap initially, so it wasn't as much of a loss. But I had to buy Samurai Showdown recently, and this is where I'm going to end off at, and this is my last bit, I swear. I bought Samurai Showdown on PS4 initially. It plays like doo-doo dog butter, and I do not like it. Not in person, it's fine. The online in that game is several levels below trash, and that's why I stopped playing it. As much as I love that game, it was so fun, but I can't play online. And during the pandemic, who am I gonna play with? This game is terrible online. Even the setup, the lobbies, everything about it. Like not just the rollback and stuff like that, because I'm not rollback. Not just the connection, because it's already bad. That was bad enough. But then the setup to get matches and set up matches is also shit. And I'm like, I'm not playing this. So I stopped playing it. Something in me was like, I want to play this on PC, but I looked up and it wasn't released on Steam. I'm like, why it's not on Steam? That seems weird. I'm pretty sure I've seen PC screenshots of this. It was released on the Epic Store, and only the Epic Store. And I hadn't looked to see if there was talk of like it was going anywhere else. It just seemed like from everything I saw that it was only going to be exclusive to the Epic Store. So, begrudgingly, I made an account on the Epic Store, downloaded the Epic launcher, and bought the game and the DLC with the intent of I want to play against certain people or like build up a rapport. I can build up an audience to play it on the Epic Store version, and I'll do that. 2 weeks later, it got fucking released on Steam. I'm not. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I don't even play it. And then on top of that, I don't play the Epic Store version because I don't play against. So I was like, you know what? That was a waste of money. I'm not ever doing that
So
again.
you mean to tell me the same game that you buy, if you buy it on the Epic Store, you
You
can't
cannot
play
use it
against
on Steam.
users?
Exactly, and that goes to what I was talking about.
How does
It's
fuck does that work? It's
annoying
on PC.
because it's two different. So it's two different launches, two different stores, two different environments. I can't launch it. Like I have to. I can't go to Steam. Like, oh, you have it from Epic. They're competitors.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you play, but you're still playing against PC players, right?
That much may be the same. I'm not. No, because they're two different environments. I'm pretty sure that I can't play against. If I'm on the Epic account, I can't play against Steam users. They're two
That
different
makes no
environments.
sense because it's still PC environment. That's why I'm kind of lost. Epic and Steam are just companies that are hosting the games.
Yeah, I might be
Like
wrong.
for you
Actually,
to
no,
be able
I'll
to
take that
purchase
back.
them.
I might be wrong. Don't quote me on
Because
that
it's not
one.
necessarily, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not a console, so it doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be able to play against other users that are on, because it's just for the simple fact that it's PC and you're dealing with a PC game, period.
Well, I
So
think what it is that those games use the tools of that specific environments. Like for example, my Epic friend list is different than my Steam friend list, right?
well, yeah, that makes sense because
Well,
you're actually using their launcher or their accounts.
right. And
But it just
so
kind of doesn't make sense that you wouldn't be able to play against them because you're still using the same platform. You see what I'm saying?
kind
Kind
of,
of like,
yeah. Like you probably are. You might be right. I have to go look and see. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I feel like it's different because the platform on PC is still, even though they're both on PC and we're on Windows, the platform is Epic. The platform is Steam. So they're technically still two different platforms. It's just they're using the same machine. If that makes sense. But I'm not 100% sure on that because I'm not. I
Yeah,
never
that
tried.
almost sounds like Epic would need their own servers to host the game,
Yes.
in which that'd be very limiting.
Yeah. I mean that's how Steam goes as far as I know. I don't know. I've actually
that's
looked into that.
weird.
I'm gonna check that out. But as
Yeah,
far
that
as
is
like,
weird.
as far as like if I buy DLC and stuff like that, or if I buy stuff for one game, it doesn't go to the other. Like if I were to buy it on Steam right now, no, I would have to buy
Well, I can
DLC and
understand
stuff.
that not transferring over if you was to buy Epic from the Epic store, then you had
Yeah.
the Steam. Even though I was just thinking, like, could you not? Are you not playing against PC users? And you're on a PC. I can understand like the content that you buy because it's kind of like, if you order from Amazon and order from Walmart, it's two different companies you're ordering from. You're not gonna be able to go to Walmart and be like, well, I downloaded this game off of Walmart. Maybe I can log in my Amazon account and download it from them. That doesn't make sense. But as far as you being on the same console, because you're still using a PC game, it makes sense that way. Because I don't think any of these companies are making the game different as far as the hardware you can play on. It's not like you're going from PC to PlayStation, which is crossplay. You're going from PC to PC. You're just using a different company's. You just bought it from a different company. That's kind of how I see it. It's like buying it from Walmart or Amazon.
Hang on, Steam Place game. Let's see, can Epic claim? I'm just looking it up now. So thought that actually sparked a thought in my head. I'm like, let me see. I'm looking at certain games. It looks like it's in general. It's not. Let's see. Yeah, I think it has to be enabled from the developer. Yeah, it's not. It's not native. It has to be like or added from the developer's standpoint. So that has to allow crossplay. So yeah, it's like I explained it then. So it is like the actual
That's
client because you're
fucking
going through
weird.
the client, not through like just native PC.
Like,
Yeah, the client's hosting it. So like yeah, Epic would have to have Epic has their servers, and that's where you're playing
that is
through.
so
Yeah,
weird.
or not even their servers, but like you're playing through Epic's service, and so you're on their
Yeah,
platform, so
because
you
you
have to
gotta
run through their
download
friend
their
list.
actual client to
Right.
use the
Exactly.
game.
Yeah, and so you're playing in two different. It's like you're playing on two different systems, but on the same thing. That's why people were irritated when Epic started poaching games because it's like everybody plays generally on Steam. That's one of the biggest selling points of playing on PC. Was kind of a unified environment, which did create a sort of monopoly for them but it made it easier for PC players. Everybody's on Steam. So when Epic became a thing, and like Epic started posting all these games and taking them away from Steam, or like denying the ability for them to be on Steam, and Samurai Showdown being one of them at the time, then yeah, now suddenly that game that you want to play on Steam with your friends, you can't play because it's not on Steam. It's on Epic. You have to play it there, and you got to migrate your friends over there. And so yeah, my frustration recently is the fact that I bought it on Epic. I knew I probably wouldn't have anybody to play over there, and then come to find out, like 2 or 3 weeks later, boom, now they released it on Steam too. And so I'm like, I can't. Not only can I not transfer my purchases, if I buy it on Steam, I can't play somebody that's playing on Epic, and vice versa. So it's really dumb. I wouldn't buy anything else. I bought Epic specifically, or not bought. I signed on to Epic specifically to play Samurai Showdown. I don't really give a flying rat's ass for anything else that's on there. So I'll probably just uninstall it and just not give a fuck and just like count it as money lost because I just don't care.
I just got Epic. I just got an Epic account because they give free games.
Yeah, I have to check and see. I just also I got other issues about that. I want to go into like a 5-hour podcast. So
yeah.
But
to me, it just doesn't make. To me, it doesn't even make sense though. It's just like, and I guess that's my biggest problem about like even with thinking about just with Steam or whatever like that. Yeah. It's cool as an idea, but my whole thing is I don't like purchasing something if I got to go through your client to play it and I can't play it with everybody else.
Right.
Because to me, it's like, it's almost like telling me I don't own the game that I just bought from you.
Oh, my friend, we could have a whole podcast on that too. That's a whole nother discussion. I agree with you 100%, 110%. I agree with you. That's one of my biggest frustration with the way the consoles and stuff work these days is that you don't technically own the product you buy. And I say this as somebody that buys mostly digital now, but that is one of the things that kind of sparks a fear in me, and it kind of frustrates me is the fact that really a lot of these games that I own, at any time if they feel like it, I no longer own it. They can just take it down and it's no longer available. If I delete it from my system, I can't get it back. That with what's the name? PT. You know, it was a demo, so thankfully it didn't cost money. But when they took that shit down, they took that shit down. You could not play it anymore. And if you erase off your PS4, it was gone. And it's like that's the level of control they have with the digital market, and it fucking sucks because, you know, a lot of us paid into it with the hope that wouldn't be the case, but because we also just like the idea of having our games available to us digitally and owning it, but that the constant ownership is getting taken slowly, not taken away, but reduced basically.
Kind of why I still buy games every now and then. I will still buy a physical copy.
Yeah, some games I will still buy physical
because to me, I'm just like, I mean, yeah, the convenience of digital is cool, but my whole thing is if my internet goes out and I get this game online, then what the fuck am I paying for? Like literally.
Yeah, that happened to me with Street Fighter 5. Like at one point, it tried to do one of his checks one day, and I had been on the internet in a while because I was like traveling or some shit, and it was like, oh yeah, you don't. I gotta go home and actually check the shit so I can play it.
Yeah, I don't. It's just like I don't like being restricted from being able to play my shit anytime that I want to play with my shit.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't like that. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, well, I own it, and that's what fucking happened with Xbox when they were talking about their, you know, before they came out with the Xbox One and shit. They were talking about that damn always online connection, and that's what they wanted to go with.
And you know the thing about that was like they was saying something that was foreign. It was like that was the direction the industry was going anyway, and that's where we're at now, honestly. But it was that situation with Xbox was perfect as an example of what bad marketing can do, because everything that came out of their mouth during that whole debacle was a self-inflicted error. They could have worded it much better or said it much better, and it would have landed much better, because that's where we're at now. Like, aside from the fact that, yeah, definitely there is still a market for physical copies, for sure. But that's where we're at now. Look at the PS5 launching with both a physical disc drive version and then a download only version, right? Like, that's where we're at. It's just that the way they went about it and the way they marketed it was just so ass backwards and just terrible messaging. That I won't even lie, I fell for it too. I was part of the backlash. I was like, no man, I won't buy used copies. My physical, they're gonna take it away from me. And it's because of the way they marketed it. It's the way they put it out there, the way they said it. Like, they didn't do anything that's like not being done now. Sony's doing the same shit. But Sony also is very smart as far as Sony's marketing is genius. And so when they saw that, they were like, how can we make them look dumb and they start doing those. Here's how we share game little vignettes and shit, and it's like, oh, well, that'll do it. So
And I'm starting to feel like the tax on digital stuff is actually more than if you got a physical copy.
oh yeah. Well, the problem with the whole thing with digital that is frustrating is that initially we were paying for the price for these games because of the physical copy, the cost to print them and stuff like that. But did you notice that when they start going digital, we're still paying the same fucking price?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's
It
not.
was all a lie.
Yeah, there's no change. Like that's part of the problem, and they know that, and they're just like, well, we can still charge the same price. And this is not to
Matter
say
of fact,
that.
the prices done gone up.
Yeah, they're talking about the prices going up. But what, like
Like
this
if you
current
go,
generation?
if you got the next gen consoles like this, they're $70 instead of 60.
Yeah,
A lot of let's put it this way, if they are your
oh, AAA.
yeah, AAA titles, and a lot of the I want to say like first party are like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and it's just like, why did y'all go up? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why the hell did y'all go up in price? That doesn't make any sense. But that's what they're getting away with, though. You know, it's like, well, these games are better quality. It's like you haven't done shit differently than what the
right. Aside from
one
graphic
of these
fidelity.
games is like, oh, they cost more. Well, we kind of figured that the systems cost more too, but it's like, well, that's just the nature of the beast. But you were still getting the same amount of, you were still gonna get your money.
Right. Well, then that's a whole
It's just
other
like,
thing too, because it goes into
golly.
like it goes into like the cost of video game production now and where they're at and like what they're trying to do with all the consoles and stuff like that. But then my frustration with that, and this is again one of my frustrations because I got a bunch of them with the game industry right now that I don't talk about a lot. But my frustration with that is no one, aside from like the super hardcore players, really asked for a lot of shit that they're claiming they're going to put in games that's going to make them quote unquote better. Like visually, stuff does look better to an extent, right?
Yeah,
But they're
but it's
forcing us
not a
for
big leaps
it's
and
not a
bounds
yeah,
over
it's not, and
though.
we're not gonna get that for a long time coming because the game industry like really leapt and bound already before. Like where we're at now is kind of reaching that tipping point of like hitting the uncanny valley, and then also just hitting a place where the fidelity that you want is not reasonable for consumers. Like it's gonna
Hmm.
reach that point where just the cost of games is gonna be way too fucking high for your average consumer to even
Yeah,
consume, and it
and
won't make
not
sense because like a lot of games that a lot of production studios, especially like your mid. Again, I always talk about the death of the mid level studio, but especially like the indie level and like between there when you get away from the AAA stuff, they're not gonna. They're not making those kind of games. They're not going to be able to make those kind of games. That kind of funding. This is not. That it's too expensive.
yeah,
Without going into
yeah,
without going to hella crunch, burn out a bunch of artists, and make an industry that much work, or making games take like 4 years to develop before they even like get a trailer. It's like it's gonna
yeah.
just become worse that way. And so they justify that by saying, "Well, we have to make the cost higher because we're giving you these graphics that you all wanted." But who wants that?
No,
Like,
no.
who actually
And
wants that?
me being a owner of a next gen console,
All right.
I'm gonna tell you the the value of the next gen isn't in the video games right now. It's in the
Mm,
system itself.
yeah.
Because the way that the system itself loads how quick the games are, that's where you get most of your value is the actual system. The games are still pretty much to me like the same shit. Like I play 2K. You can see the same, and most of the time sports games are the ones that have a great leaps and bounds over the last gen console.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, after you play 2K for a while, or when you first even look at a trailer, it's like it's not leaps and bounds above PS4. You could tell the difference. You could tell the graphic, like the HDR lighting. You could tell that brings out a little bit more. You can definitely see that it is better lighting. You can see, but the player models they look almost the same. Like I could switch from PS4 to PS5, and the only thing I'm really gonna notice the main difference is the lighting. Player models do look a little bit better, but of course, it is the first year that they came out. I will give them another whole year before I really fully judge it like that.
Right.
But
Right.
the biggest thing about it is I can tell the difference in the system's power. Like if I was to play the PS5 version, and let's just say like I do the little franchise mode they have, So on the PS4, PS5 version, you already see the loading time is a lot faster. That's a system thing. Because if I pop in the PS4 side or PS4 version, and I do that same like simming through a whole year, like NBA season,
Yeah.
it goes by like in 2 seconds. Now, if I was on the PS4, it takes at least 3 to 5 minutes to sim through a whole year. It goes by so quick on the
Right.
next gen console.
You're right.
So you can definitely tell that the next gen is right now, it's in the actual system. The system makes it next gen. Everything else is just kind of like, well, this is a new game.
Right.
Like
Like this is.
Dre plays Outriders. Dre plays Outriders on PS4. I play it on the PS5.
Mhm.
We can play the same exact game. I could tell you his game don't look no different than mine as far as graphical look. Maybe a little smoother on mine. The lighting might be a little bit better. But you
Right.
ever see the graphics comparisons on these things they be trying to show online? And it's really just the lighting that makes it look a little bit better.
Right.
That's
Right.
really what we're at. And on top of that, my game loads in faster than his does. But that's it.
Yeah,
That's
but yeah,
really
right.
all next gen is right now. It's just the
Yeah.
speed of the actual console.
Right. Right. All
It
right.
is just like, but you telling me that's a justification for $70?
Nah, not me.
I can understand the price of the system being higher because yeah, I'm getting a better product over what last gen was, but the game itself is the same shit. Madden did the same thing. If I pop in Madden 25, Madden, the last Madden that came out, look, I'm already fucking up the year it is. Madden 21, because I
Right.
don't like it. It's terrible. The like literally you don't see any upgrade in graphics. Rarely, it could
That
barely tell the
to be
difference.
fair to Madden, that's a fucking Madden issue that's been around for because Madden never.
Yeah, but I will tell
No,
you,
I can
I
say
will
it. I can
tell
say
you,
it. Yeah.
the leaps and bounds you've seen between PS3 and PS4, you've seen the change. These new
Right.
systems, you don't really see. Yeah, you see it plays like the game plays different, and
Right.
you
Right.
can tell within the lighting that is better. Yes.
Right. No,
But
100%.
other
Yeah.
overall, it's like it looks like the same fucking. I was not even impressed. I was like, wow, this looks exactly like the other one. Where is the next gen in it? It's like wow,
Right.
and everybody online will tell you the same thing. It's like wow, this is
Not the, yeah.
I
yeah.
think the only other game where we actually noticed that was Destiny. The field of vision is actually a lot wider on PS5.
I did not
Okay.
know that.
Yeah,
See, I didn't.
that's the main game we've been able to see it in. So, but yeah,
But
the
it's
field of
very
vision is-
minuscule. In a lot of games, it's very minuscule.
Oh,
All right. So
that
check.
one though.
So check me out.
As a matter of fact, they said screenshot.
So check me out.
But
So we went extremely over. I'm gonna be on stream right now playing Mario Golf. Uh,
Oh wow.
like a half hour ago. They probably mad as hell at me right now. I'm gonna end now.
Okay.
I could. It was just a good conversation. I didn't want to end it. It was such a good conversation. So, yeah. Thank you anybody that's checking this out for watching it. This time will be way longer than I expected. This is like a 2.5, maybe 3 hour podcast. I'm gonna put the whole thing up there. It's cool. Let me know what you think. Yeah. I'm gonna hard out this one. I don't even have a good outro. I think we're gonna either do next week. I'm assuming next week, or we're gonna do week after.
Hey, whichever one.
You
I'll
know,
be off on.
Go ahead.
I'm off on Saturdays now anyway, so
Oh, okay. Okay,
I'm
cool.
good.
Okay. We'll see what happens this week. See if everybody gets to do some stuff, and if not, then we'll just delay it. I'll probably stick to the other every other week. Actually, yeah, we'll just stick to every other week for now because that gives us time to do stuff and everything. So that's cool with me. Hopefully I have this up like tomorrow, like I'm supposed to. So, all right, y'all. I am
Alright.
out. Y'all have a good night, and yeah, if you're listening to this any other time, have a good day, and thank you for listening. Peace.
till next time.
All right.
In a Sega Dreamcast.
Sega Dreamcast.